I mean, Landon just told a really great story. Chaz with the queen jack.
These guys are gambling. This is $500 in there. Some of these guys haven't looked at all.
2-3, the dirty diaper takes down $2,300.
Everyone is stunned.
$2,300. All right, guys, welcome to Rounders Card Club here in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. This is Rounders Tonight. We're doing a live stream tonight, 5-10 game, one of our biggest games in a while. The men buy-in is $1,000. It's uncapped, but we're going to go from $1,000 to $30,000. I'm JT, and of course, with me tonight is Ethan. Ethan, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys? It's going to be a pretty crazy game tonight. I mean, it's going to be absolutely insane. And we have those new overlay. I mean, look at this super pretty graphics. Can't wait to see how they come out. But, yeah, I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, the graphics really pop. They're really nice. A nice change.
Yeah.
But look at the list tonight. I don't know if you guys know, Rhonda, of course, is in seat 8. She's got maybe $20,000
Yeah,
in front of her.
at least I'm seeing at least 20,000.
Right, that stack of the purplish and tan is 10,000, right?
Yeah, that's
Or
10,000.
is that 5,000?
No, yeah, it's 10,000.
That's 10,000.
And then that little stack is probably 4,000. Yeah, she's starting with what looks like 20.
My
So,
goodness.
She's
And-
coming to play.
Yeah. So we got John George. You've seen John George on the stream a lot. He's in seat 1. There's Drew standing in front of the camera, but that's okay. We're not playing yet, right?
Yeah.
And Matt's going to start out dealing tonight. Chris is joining us. There are two great dealers here. Also, let's give a shout-out to Mario, one of our dealers here. He does a great job. He's fun to play with also. So, Mario, if you're out there watching or you have your friends watching, thanks, buddy, and we'll see you soon out on the tables.
Yeah, I've definitely had a lot of moments with Mario. He's a really nice guy.
Absolutely. And then you see Yu-Chan sitting down in seat 2. I think he's starting with right at 10,000? Yeah, it looks like 10,000, right?
Yeah, it looks like we got at least 5,000. It looks like 10 to 9,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
Yeah.
And then Poker Athlete should be in seat 3, I believe, right?
Let me see.
JJ's
here.
in 4. I think Poker Athlete's in 3.
Yeah, we have a newcomer here, Mephisto. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Mephisto. He's a ACR streamer, Elite Stormer. He's a good player, and he came to Texas just today for the stream.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's in seat 7?
That looks like he's the guy with the beard. That's
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
So,
I thought he was a regular here.
Yeah, no. Seat 7 is baby. No, wait, that doesn't look like it. Never mind. That's actually a new. Seat 7's a new person. I
Yeah,
haven't
we'll
seen.
get the names, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Mephisto is not the one with the hat. The one on the right of the hat. Yeah, but and then we also have JJ, Texas Poker Champ.
Yeah, took down the I-35 battle between the Lodge and Rounders when we did that.
Yeah.
He got on the final table. They're like 5-handed. And a couple of guys said, hey, you guys want to chop it? And he said, no, I'm going for glory. And
Yeah.
he took it down. Congratulations, champ.
And I know JJ is no stranger to playing higher stakes. He's going to be pretty fun to watch as well. Everyone here, I'm not sure about John. I don't know his past or if he's played any games like this, but sometimes when you're taking a shot, it can be really scary, or you're not going to play the same way. But it really depends. I'm excited to see mostly actually how Brandon and John play. Brandon being Poker Athlete, because I haven't known them to play these stakes, and everyone knows when you go up in stakes, it can be pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of hard. JJ posts, bankroll management all the time. So if you want to learn how to do bankroll management and how to win consistently, you can follow him on Instagram and what else? He's on YouTube?
Yeah, he's on. I know he's wanting to make a YouTube, but he's on Instagram and I actually think that's Facebook as well. But I'm pretty sure that's all he's on. But he's really cool. If you guys want to follow him, he does a lot of tutorials on how to start like new bankrolls from like 4 or 5K and then turning that into like 13K, and he just teaches you like, hey, you can do it even with a short amount of money.
Well, while we got a couple minutes, shout out this $200,000 guarantee for the holiday tournament coming up.
Yeah, guys. So we have a pretty big tourney coming up. It's going to be a 200K bounty, holiday bounty tournament. That's going to be a $300 buy-in with $50 bounties for day one and $200 bounties on day two. So that was really cool. You're going to start with 40,000 chips, and it's going to be 30 and 40-minute levels. So a lot of playability. That's going to be happening from the 14th to the 19th. We're going to have, I think it's a total 9 flights, with one flight on Sunday of the 19th, where there's day two, or sorry, the 18th, and as well as nightly tournament on Saturday.
Right, we have 2 turbos. That'll be a Saturday night and Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And those are turbos, so you guys can still get in that late. Also, we are doing a black chip $20,000 guarantee buy-in. The buy-in, not 20,000. The buy-in's $240. Or 3 buys up to $200. That's a black chip tournament guaranteed $20,000 tomorrow, which is Wednesday. That's going to be our tournament. That's going to get you ready for the bounty tournament. And then Friday, we have the $10,000 mystery bounty coming up. That's this Friday. So, guys, come on out. Get your Wednesday and Friday fix. And then tonight we are doing the $5,000 triple treat tournament that we always do on Tuesdays. So come on out, get your play on. The house is semi-full. We have a bunch of 1-2 tables going on, 2 Big O tables going on. I just saw when I walked in here, so that was nice to see. And the tournament's filling up quickly.
Yep.
We'll get on the way shortly, guys. Chaz is just walking in. I think he's going to be in seat 9.
Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Yeah, I'm like, what's my next question here?
Do you remember Dirty Dancing when Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, it was nothing
Yeah,
but-
we should be starting in like maybe 4 minutes here. So
Yeah, the guys are just all getting here from traffic. You know, the weather's actually was beautiful this afternoon.
it's been really good in general. Actually, I've really liked it. And I feel like just the last few days I've been able to go outside and really just chill and have fun, which has been a while since I've been able to do that. But
Yeah, if you guys want to come out to Rounders right now, we do have 5 1-2 no limit hold'em tables going on right now. We do have 2 Big O tables, which is 5-card Omaha High Low, and that is a 5-5 game, and it plays every day. And we have the live stream going on, and we have a bunch of people on the list. We have 5 people on the list. So if you guys want to come out and play, we do. The table's full right now. The table's completely full for the live stream. We are waiting on Malcolm to show up in seat 5. Other than that, we are ready to rock and roll.
He's
Oh, congratulations to Rudy. He won the PKO
yeah,
last Sunday. When did you do it? Thursday?
I believe that was Thursday.
Yeah, last Thursday. I was out sick. Sorry, guys. Rudy run the PKO and took down like $1,800.
Yeah, and it was a super fun one to watch. There's a lot of really cool action. We had like an all-in, maybe like every hand, if not every 2 hands.
Well, the buy-in was a little higher, so your bounties were higher. So people were playing very hard for those bounties.
Yeah,
So instead of winning $40, you had $80 bounties.
yeah, and I mean that one's really fun. I'm excited for the next one that we do. And everyone's giving their cards, so we're gonna be starting here in like a minute. This is gonna be super fun.
Yeah, you know, Chaz, Rhonda, Uchan all play at this high level, right? And
Oh, yeah.
higher and way bigger. So, like you said, I'm not sure how John George or even JJ. I mean, I know he's a great tournament player and cash player, but this stake is a little bit bigger than normal.
No, so JJ, I don't want to say where or how he plays or anything.
But he
like
plays
that,
bigger
but he
games?
plays bigger.
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
just
so
wasn't
he
sure.
is used to this.
I don't have all that background.
Yeah, me and
'Cause I
me
play-
and JJ are good friends.
If it's over 1-2, they play higher than 1-2. I really don't know their game because
Oh,
I
yeah.
stay in that level.
No, me and JJ have traveled a lot together. We've done a lot of things together. He's one of my really good friends in poker.
Nice.
I'm really rooting for him and Brandon in this one because also John. John is another guy that I've been talking to lately. He's pretty new, but all these people in general are really nice. And as you know, Chaz, Yuchen, Rhonda, all these people are just like great people. That's what I kind of love about the poker community here in Texas is everyone knows each other if you're playing here consistently, and everyone's like, most of the time, everyone's pretty buddy and really nice about everything.
Well, it's amazing because like you are playing for such large money, and they play each other extremely hard, but yet
Yeah.
they're friends in the end.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's going to be super just interesting to see exactly how everyone plays. The dynamic that I'm most interested of is when it gets to people who will straddle, how that affects the game and who getting stacked, like if someone gets stacked, what that's going to affect the game going forward. Like if let's just say Yu Chang gets stacked, right? Is he going to rebuy for the max? And if so, does he go hard on the paint with everything that he's going for, or does he go like, chill and try to make that money back? It's going to be a cool dynamic to see like if anyone gets sacked, specifically Chaz or Yuchan, who are going to be like really, ready to get in another stack.
Right, be super aggressive.
Yeah,
It looks like Lance is going to join the table.
Wow. And kudos to anyone that joins this table because this is a super not what you're used to in Texas. Like we don't really have as much stakes, at least not until recently, with other card rooms sometimes opening it up. But most of the stakes that you'll find in Texas are 1-2 and 1-2-5, just uncapped. So then you can just buy in for whatever you want. But not many people are used to playing, well, what would be really, really high stakes here. 510 is more like a 50-100 in Texas.
And I'm really curious to see how the poker coaches, if they get in a hand, how they play each other. Because Brandon coaches, JJ coaches, and I just like to see, how the dynamics work when they're playing each other, trying to outwit each other, or just playing their hands face up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all these players could really be coaches in their own right. Really, like a lot of coaching can also be just like some people might be better, but some people are just better at teaching, and so that's really like the strengths that they
Well, I
have.
think a lot of it is like some people aren't scared to help you improve with their skill level, but some people don't want to share their thought process and how they make a move at certain points. Like you saw Chaz the last cash game last Tuesday. He bet 900 with the nuts and he bet 900 with air.
Yeah,
And both times he won that hand.
yeah,
So I don't know if he wants to give up that strategy. Like, does he look at the man's stack and counter stack and put, a third of his stack in to make him, think about calling or folding, or because a smaller bet could get looked up. So how does he process what amount he puts out there?
Well, what's cool about these stream games, because there is like always when I'm playing on, there's actually like a big thing where people say I don't want to play on stream because I don't want to put my abilities out there, but sometimes people can watch what you're doing on stream and incorrectly adapt by watching what you're doing. So then they'll think like, for example, Chaz, if Chaz understands that people think he's more aggressive, he might take lines where he can bet big and then actually get paid off more often because people see that he's bluffing in these spots. And then he might even have like that advertisement of like, oh, I actually don't bluff that much. I'm just trying to like. In his case, not so much because he does stay pretty balanced, but sometimes it could be actually pretty good for you, kind of like advertisement.
I think he plays the player a lot. Of course, when his head's up, right? He's thinking about that guy's experience. I think when he's making a play, also like, hey, if I put in 2/3 of his stack, he's gonna fold, right?
Yeah.
And if I whatever, I think he plays a lot to his strengths as far as his bet sizing and the strength of that player.
Definitely.
So Lance is going to join us in seat 5. Lance is a all-around great poker player. He's exceptional in Big O, holdem. We're going to find out. He does play a lot of holdem. He's very comfortable at this table in these stakes. So I'm excited to see how everybody does.
Yeah, I've never actually seen him before, but I always like seeing new people. And again, just like the fact that he's come on and done this is really cool. Anyone in these seats are going to be, and we do see the stacks here.
Yeah.
Some people are going to be starting a little short. And we're going off.
Yeah, first hand's on the way, guys.
All right, so we got Sean there in what looks like seat 7. I haven't seen him before. Do you know if he's from San Antonio?
I've seen Sean play here before.
Okay.
But Mephisto 6000 is playing.
Yeah,
They had 6,000.
and like I said, I'm really curious to see what happens if people get stacked faster, where the dynamics of the game is going to go, because the last few times we've seen, someone has got stacked within an orbit, and then the game goes off the rails.
Sure, sure.
So, very curious when we have so many, we got like a good amount of good players. It's
always okay.
going to be interesting to see how everyone goes. Lance and Mephisto starting off with 1.8K.
What about if they're sideways and on top?
Sean's in for 1,500. There's Rana with a $20,000 starting stack.
And Sean opening ace-3 suited here, so he's not afraid to get in the mix, it seems. And a lot of the times when everyone's like feeling out what's happening and everything, you're going to see a lot more folds early on. Wow, we see Brandon fold queen 10 in the big blind here. Normally you're going to want to be defending that, but you can see that the pressure of playing these high stakes makes you actually make that fold more often.
Yeah, well, I think it's early and he hasn't played too many hands against. I'm sorry, what was his name?
Sean.
Sean. He hasn't played too many hands against Sean, so he just says, he wants to fill him out. $35, he's got $5 out, $10 out there with queen 10 offsuit. So he just wants to see some hands basically from everybody before he tries to play with them a little bit. No need to get involved in a big hand for queen high.
Definitely, and that can definitely work, especially if you're. The only problem is if anyone can watch the stream and see you're not defending your big blind like that very much, then when you do defend, it becomes a lot harder for you to not have good hands.
But it's the first, second hand on the stream. Yeah. So, I mean, later on, he might start defending. Once the game, like you said, once the game breaks the ice a little bit and people got, 1,000 out there, and then they'll be going at it. So he's coming in for a raise with King Jack against Lance Ace Deuce, and Lance might defend with Ace Deuce.
Yeah. Lance should definitely defend, especially in position. Position's really key. Here on a lot of flops, Brandon's going to have to continue betting, and that sucks when it comes like this kind of flop.
Yeah, because Lance can easily continue with a straight draw.
Yeah, and does check. We see a
I
fast
would like to
check
see
by
Lance bet here.
He can go either
Oh,
way.
he didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't see him check.
Oh, and this is a bad card for Brandon. He's probably not gonna lose much, but if Lance just smooth calls, then
Should be check on the river. What if a spade comes? Will Poker Athlete try and take a stab at it?
yeah, definitely. Spade would be a good card to bet for sure, and you'd want to bet big on the spade.
You could overbet the pot. The pot's 120.
And that's kind of a annoying card for Brandon, because he's gonna think that here's chopping, but we see a check back. Ace good.
Yep, so Lance is going to check back as well and take back aces and fives with a 3 kicker because his 2 didn't play.
Yeah, I like the check back with the ace.
Yeah, the kicker doesn't help you at all, so you might as well just check it back, take down the pot.
Although Brandon definitely doesn't have any 3s or 5s, but it is possible for him to have something like ace 10. But those spots you can go for thin value sometimes, just because your opponent's going to think you're chopping a lot. But again, it goes back to the dynamic thing.
Well, we got a lot of people in the chat tonight, man. Guys, thanks for joining the chat. Ghost of M, Nicole, Darren, thank you guys. Casey, see you out there. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. We got a couple of likes already, man. Thank you guys. Hey, this game should get pretty outrageous here. Probably, I'm going to say within the next hour, maybe. It's going to be a lot of filling out right now.
Oh, yeah.
Lance hasn't played with too many people. Mephisto hasn't played with anybody. So once they get their feet wet and they see a couple hands, they're going to be battling for some stacks.
And I like this raise from Mephisto. I was even thinking if he was going to raise with this spot, this is a great hand to raise with in position. but you are going to get called by king 7. This is one of those you need to raise not because your hand is good, but because you don't want to be playing with this hand. Oh, and he does flop a queen. Probably just going to go check, bet, fold.
Yeah,
but
exactly. And Lance is always going to defend with the king or ace in this position, maybe even a queen. You know, like you said, check, bet, fold. Plus, no one's had a drink yet, so these guys might get some drinks going, but it is a bigger game. I'm not sure how that's going to play into this.
we've
Yeah.
we've definitely seen them do that in the past. What's up, guys? Nice to see some familiar faces in the chat.
50 up front. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game. 20K buy-in, pretty crazy. And we already got the straddles. We got a $25 straddle from Rhonda, and then a $50 restraddle, and then a $100 restraddle by John.
So John feels comfortable at this level. Is that what you're saying?
I think this is hard to say whether or not he feels. It's weird because you can definitely straddle.
All right, Ethan, I don't want to cut you off, but look, JJ has pocket deuces. Is this a
It's a
hand you
fold.
come in with?
Yeah, this is always either an early fold or a big raise, but I think he should mostly go for folds. Does decide to go with this route, and
300.
it's fine with the dead money. The only problem is you are going to walk into a lot of resistance. With the short stacks on the small and big blind, it ends up being a little, and this is what I mean, is like now you're kind of committed to where Sean, because of all the dead money, is just going to have to shove here.
Nice tattoo with the aces on his arm. I like that. Yeah, he's got tens. Does he put a bigger? He's got only 1,500.
He's got
out
15
there.
bigs here, so he's going to have to shove pretty frequently.
Can he raise the 700, 800, take it down, or is that not big enough?
No, 700, 600 is going to be really bad. You really just don't want hands like King Jack to see hands.
He
Does go
did.
all in.
Wow.
Should-
Good call, bro.
Yeah, but in this spot with the dead money, this is like a
His stack also, right? The stack.
yeah,
His stack size. If he has 10,000, he's not ripping it.
and that's
Right.
why. And look, John
Oh.
John would have had eights, and that's why I don't like twos in that spot with the specifically because the short stacks in the straddles.
Right. If JJ folds and Sean raises to 300, John George is looking him up. He's already got 100
Yeah.
out there
It would be an all in
for John George
for John George.
with pocket eights.
It would be a must all in almost all the time.
What
Although
was
you
his
can
stack?
take
I don't
a
know what his
list.
stack was.
Well, the important part is that Sean has 1,500 and you have
You want him to
eights.
fold.
Say it again.
He needs him to fold.
Straddle,
He
straddle.
can't see a flop and fold. John,
yeah.
Like John can't call and see the flop and then fold because he misses an 8 and there's 2 overcards.
Yeah, not for the amount. The stack to pot ratio, which is just like a calculation of when you should be doing things essentially based on the pot, is really important. So like in that spot, if he went 300 and then he called, there'd be like 800 in the pot and he'd only have 1,200 behind. So like no matter what hand he has, he's gonna have to shove. So
Yeah, we saw with JJ raising there, it changed the whole dynamics of the rest of the guys.
yeah,
Because it could have turned out way differently with Sean and John versus JJ and Sean.
and that's where I try to tell people that it's not just about the hand that you're playing, but the unlucky part of someone taking a move that they're not always going to take. So like JJ raising with twos, he's probably doing that on like a 80-20 frequency where 80% he's folding and 20% he's raising. So you happen to be like John was lucky that he happened to take the higher variance 20% line that he did.
Yeah, and that's a $500 win without seeing a flop.
Yeah.
Rhonda comes out raising with ace king and just takes it right down. These guys are waiting for some good hands to go at it. I mean, that was a pretty good flop or pretty good hands. The hand before where we had 3 pocket pairs. There'd be a lot of damage when that happens on the next one.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna happen for sure. And we are gonna see some really big pots, I think, just already from what we've seen, the straddles, how people are
It's
playing.
just been happening, so.
Did it to show what an active player is.
Time to go.
Thought it was last week. The Fiolo games have been good. Fiolo games have been good. Fiolo games have been good.
Ooh, and it looks like we have Brandon with the raise with the king 6 suited, and Lance is gonna just flat with the sixes. I'd like the flat with the sixes if he had a little more chips. The raise by Brandon with the king six suited is and we're seeing two sixes being folded here. Oh, and this is interesting. JJ is gonna have a spot where he wants to raise. I just wonder how big. This is a great raise spot with all the dead money. I would go really big with a hand like Ace Jack. You don't really want to see a flop.
How big?
You might
Seven,
shove. You might just
800?
shove here, to be honest.
What does he have? Oh, he's got 5K.
Yeah, but it's weird because any raise you make is gonna make SPR weird. But
Look at
this is
that.
gonna work anyway.
1,200.
I think I would like a shove better, but maybe he's gonna go. Yeah, so he goes 15. Only problem is that if he does get shoved, I wonder if he's folding. I guess he can. But yeah, you can definitely get kind of screwed in those spots if you get unlucky.
Yeah, there's another $800 pot without seeing a flop.
Yeah, and that's courtesy of knowing how to play when there's a lot of dead money. Straddles create a lot of dead money, and that's why they make the game so crazy. And we see already people up a couple hundred here. JJ and Sean up almost 500.
I want these guys to believe, right?
And that's just from dead money.
I think Brandon.
Yeah, JJ lost 300 with the twos and wins it all back plus 450 with the ace jack for 1,300 and doesn't even see a flop.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's very curious to see where someone like Mephisto takes this A7. I like the fold. I was just interested to see. Oh, and Sean's going to wake up with eights here.
This is a big raise. Is there a straddle? Yeah, see it. There's a $100 straddle over there.
Yeah, and this and this is brutal. This is going to have to be a shove a lot of the time for Sean, but maybe he folds.
Big Daddy got a picture of
Jack, right?
Jack.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Depending how Sean's image of Big Daddy Chaz is, we could maybe see a fold with the raise sizing because this sizing is very nutted, and he does go all in. And I felt like he kind of had. Oh no, he says call.
Yeah, he put his hands on his card like I thought he was going to initially just fold and let it go.
Yeah.
But now he just makes the call. He did the balk where he put his hands on his card saying, I don't want to continue. You know, but Chaz has kings, and you're putting him on ace, king, ace, queen, maybe.
Yeah, this spot is awkward for Sean now because, again, the SPR is just stack to pot ratio. He has 1.2K, and the pot's 1.8K, so he doesn't even have a pot size bet left. So it gets a little weird when, like, an ace-high board happens. Or, like, this board, very specifically, is probably one of the worst boards. It's
Right.
good for his actual hand, but it's like, now you just have to call.
I guess it gets him in trouble because there's only one overcard, the 10,
Yeah. And
to his eights. And so, that, I mean, if it was a 8 high or 7 high flop,
Look, guys.
yeah, and
Are they
Chaz
gonna
can
run it
snap
twice?
call.
Big Daddy
Um,
Chaz.
Doesn't look like they are. Yeah, it's an unfortunate spot for Sean for sure.
And kings and fives are going to hold.
Nice hand by Chaz.
Yes, sir.
And that's the power of the straddle. I mean, when you wake up with good hands on these large straddles, that's gonna happen. You're gonna have a lot of all-ins with shorter stacks. And Chaz up to a good start again. He's been running really well on this stream. He's been playing really well.
Right, the last few streams. Now, if you're sitting in Sean's spot, are you just going to rip it and say it is what it is, or do you want to call it off twice, like calling the big race and then calling it all in on that flop? Would you rather just get it all in and hope your eights are ahead?
I definitely would rather rip it. I think if you're gonna, the problem with the call is that you're risking half your stack. If a flop, let's just say the flop was like ace high, right? And Chaz is doing this with like, I mean, he's never, in this spot he has kings, but like if it's ace
Queen, ace king. He's
yeah.
You know.
Or I guess let's say it's a queen high and he has ace king and he doesn't have a pair. He's gonna make the same bet and you're gonna have to decide whether or not you're gonna call it off. Whereas the shove, it just accomplishes a lot more fold equity.
Yeah, I love the King 10 here suited.
So no ace or king on the flop. Go.
Mephisto 6000. If you guys don't know him, he is an ACR guy and he does streaming. So check him out. Make sure you guys follow him on the. I guess he's going to be a streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, he's a Twitch streamer, and we're gonna see re-raise by John George with the ace 10 off. Wow, I'm cool to see that he's getting in there with these hands. He is gonna get called here, but I wonder. Looks like Mephisto might have other plans actually. I wouldn't mind a shove with the stack.
Well, the
And-
one thing I like about Mephisto playing is he plays a lot online, so you don't see your players, right? You don't get to see them live, and you play a lot of hands against so many different players. He's not really at disadvantage right here
Yeah,
because he never played with these guys, so it's the same thing as playing online, basically.
yeah, it's weird. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics. I know that Mephisto has a lot of live experience though, but even just like and out flops him, and with the ace of diamonds, he's gonna be shoving here or betting a lot. Oh, I like the size in from John allowing himself to fold,
Bet.
but it is a little weird when you're allowing yourself to fold, because now you kind of just have to fold to a shove, but like you didn't really want to check this flop either. I don't know. This flop is particularly weird with the ace of diamonds, where
He could potentially run out a flush, and that'd be perfect diamonds.
yeah, and that's with the way this hand has gone. He's never gonna see all 5 cards. Oh, but Mephisto might just be calling. He might want to keep John's bluffs in, which I definitely understand, because you're either getting folds by worse or called by better. Oh, and yeah, this is a really bad turn for John.
Yeah, he's checking 100% here.
He with the SPR might. Okay, he does go for check, and I think we're gonna see. We honestly, you can go either way. I like a shove better, but I like a check too. Wonder
The
if he
pot's
ever
at
goes small.
1.7K, and Mephisto 6000 has 1,000.
And he does go for the check back, and this river is another one that John can check, but I don't know. I think he just wants to win this pot. Does go check. It's
Yeah.
gonna go check.
No value bet on the river.
Yeah, I like the check back. Oh, and looks like we have our holiday bounty coming up. It's a 200K, $300 buy-in, and we're going to have $50 bounties for day 1 and $200 bounties for day 2. That one's going to be really cool. It's going to have 40,000 chips, 30 and 40-minute levels coming up the 14th through the 19th. Going to be a super sick game. See me there. I'm sure you're playing it too. 9 day 1
Right,
flights.
and guys, don't forget there's 9 day 1 flights. There's 2 of them are going to be turbos, and that's going to be Sunday morning and Saturday night of that week. So make sure you guys get out here. It's $300 buy-in, $200,000 guarantee. You want that Christmas money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm fine. I think on the last hand, I'm fine with Mephisto checking there.
Just
It is hard when you bet there and then just get snap called, and then like, I mean, maybe you can get value on something like queens. Maybe if you go something small like 300 to 400, but it's definitely a tall order to ask for.
well, here's Chaz raising with the the 4-3 of spades, the 75. John George loves his suited, connected, or gappered card, one gapper.
Yeah, and these kind of hands that John is playing are really good to play from the button if you feel like you have a good read on what your opponent is doing, and he gets rewarded with a really good flop.
And 10 high is good.
Yeah,
Not only is a flush draw, straight draw, but his 10 high is actually good right now.
yeah, and if we see something like a spade on the turn or a 5, it's going to be super interesting. He does go with a raise and gets folds. I like the raise.
Absolutely. I mean, you're drawing to a huge hand. You might as well build the pot up a little bit. Especially he doesn't know he's playing against 3-4 like us, but if Chaz comes over the top, he's never folding after losing that pot to Mephisto 6000.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Sometimes you want to just call because you want to keep in bluffs, but I think with the 10 high flush specifically, you pretty much just want to get it in against something like king queen. But with the gutter, it does get a little weird when you're in position. I tend to like calling more, but I do like a raise in that spot in the certain dynamic of the game.
I mean, we do have two straddles, 25-50.
Yeah,
So Mephisto 6,000 is going to make it 50 with Lance going in for 25.
and John getting in the mix. Yu-Chan kind of annoyed by what John is doing, is what it seems like. Wow. And this is completely position based. John was trying to buy the button by raising and getting Yu-Chan off. And you can see the power of the straddle is that you're gonna take hands if you're a good player, like 8-5 suited in position, and put pressure on people. Good recognition by Yu-Chan.
You're not stealing my button from me.
Yeah, hope you guys like everything so far. If you can put a like and subscribe, we're doing really well on trying to make this stream really cool. Come off and just be a big thing. So all these players, locals that have been playing this game for a while, so it's pretty fun to watch.
100 is acceptable.
We got a quadruple straddle again. It looks like to 125.
Yeah, this
Ooh.
game's going to be pretty not ugly, I mean to say, but somewhere in that line where there's going to be some big hands, big pots brewing here very shortly, guys. Not that there has. I mean, you took down, what, $500 pre-flop without seeing a flop?
Yeah,
You know?
and that's the straddles are definitely going to make that even crazier. You're going to see a lot of these kind of raises like queen 9 offsuit. Mephisto, not and Rhonda's going to open or wake up with king queen. Wonder how she wants to take this. Does go for a call. I like to take
Oh,
suited.
she raised 250.
Oh no, Yu-Chan raised 250. And
Oh,
she's-
you can't. Okay, she called you. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see that either.
I like to take offsuit hands and raise them more, but I don't blame the call either, especially with all the dead money. Yeah, this is a great flop for Yu-Chan to bet small on.
These guys play a lot of hands together.
Yeah, and this small. Okay, I was gonna say, I wonder if they played enough to where Rhonda feels like king high might be good. Sometimes when you're playing against a player who's capable of betting pretty much every board, sometimes you're gonna make some crazy floats.
Right. Okay, guys. Also, look, you'll see Lance eating and Chaz is eating. We have a full bar here. The Rail Bar and Grill has a full menu. We have a full bar staff. If you guys want a mixed adult beverage, or we have free sodas and teas here. But if you want adult beverages, we have bartenders here that can make that for you. We have a full menu. You guys can get breakfast to steaks right now. Whatever you want is on that menu, and it is delicious. I eat here every time I'm here. You, Ethan?
Oh yeah, eat all the time.
Yeah. So come on out, guys. If you just want to have a little dinner with your girl, come on out. We got a nice sitting area. You want to come play some cards and have dinner? Join us. We'd love to have you.
I'm curious to see how JJ takes a hand like Queen Jack in position against someone like Yu-Chan. This is definitely a hand that you can fold. Yeah, I like a fold. It's weird because you want to just call in position against him, but with the straddles behind and big batty Chaz in the big blind, it can get really dicey. You start allowing Chaz to make more re-raises and trying to just take pots down with pure aggression, but I like the fold by JJ with the Queen Jack. And we're seeing a lot of King Queen. Ooh. Brandon, poker athlete, He has a cool company you can go follow called Poker Athlete. Just teaches poker. Ooh, Mephisto folding the fives. I like this when you're out of position, especially with the straddles again. Like the straddles can really dictate that. And with John gone, this actually becomes really interesting because they're seven-handed. So raises are gonna be, when the shorter you get, a lot crazier hands need to call, especially with straddles. Because John's taking a little restroom break.
You might went to the bar to have an adult beverage.
Yeah, definitely get those nerves out of the system.
I won't either the way I play that.
Yeah.
Are you commenting on how he played the hand, Lance?
Where's everyone in the chat from tonight? How many people we got from San Antonio, from out of town?
Horrible. You just walk out. You wouldn't try to redeem yourself.
Disgrace.
It's weird when people say live television. It's like it's
Ooh, and so far no one's really waking up with any hands.
About 10 people watching.
Oh. We're live on national television, dude.
It looks like he might have had a good hand in the big blind here.
It's gonna go
Oh,
viral.
safety suited. Oh, Florida, nice. I love Florida. I go there a lot.
Yeah, I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I used to go to Florida to Fort Myers and work down there during the wintertime in Virginia because the weather is just a little bit better in Florida at that time of year. I did construction for a long time, so. New Jersey, huh? I'm from Virginia Beach. Where are you originally from, Ethan?
San Antonio.
San
Born and raised, yeah.
So, we got one San Antonio guy so far.
Oh, get better, Chris.
Well, whenever they like usually they're over their hands on the first
Yeah, right, that's what I was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually went to New Jersey one time. It was way back in my gaming days, but I was like vagabonding. I couldn't find a place to sleep for the night, and I ended up staying with this random Lebanese family that was just like happy to
Take you
house
in,
me.
huh?
Yeah,
Take you in,
for
huh?
like my housing fell through, and I was like, does anyone have anything? And luckily, people knew me from gaming, so they were just like, yeah, we I'd love to have you, and
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, it was really cool, and yeah, I have a lot of cool stories like that from my.
Yeah, it's nice when there's nice people out there that know that you're in a tough spot and they allow you to stay with them.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays everybody feels threatened sometimes.
Oh yeah.
To,
No, for sure.
to lend that hand of help.
I kind of was always in these spots where I was like, well, if something happens, but I want the experience,
I like that saying when someone says the only time I'm looking down on you is when I'm helping you up.
Yeah, that
You
makes
know?
sense. What's up, Chip? Nice to see you. Just met Chip the other day. Was really nice guy.
Yes.
Young man.
Also a golfer. I don't know if you know him.
Is he a good chipper?
Yeah, I think he's got when he left the table, I said, that's a chip off my shoulder.
Yeah. I thought it was on the all in three. Oh, the pillow one. Assuming that's what you're talking about.
You make it flush or make it
Straight.
Ooh, and Brandon with the 7-6 raise. Some of these, I'm surprised to see these raises from people I wasn't sure where they were gonna go with, how tight they were gonna play, and I like it. I mean, they're getting in there. They're putting some action up.
Well, I love the 7-6 suited. That's a blind side right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. When you're raising under the gun, your range is gonna look a lot stronger. So when flops come that hit you, you can just be betting them, and really like no one's gonna ever really put you on it.
Well, we go half and half.
But he is dominated here, so 7 high boards are gonna be not his favorite. Interesting flop. I wonder how he takes this.
A check and it has to be a bet, right? Can't win with 7 high most of the time.
Yeah, and he has the backdoors. Nice takedown by Brandon there.
I had a quick bet actually. I thought his action was like as soon as she checked, he grabbed 60 right off the rip and said, "That's the bet." Like it didn't posture to think about do I need to bet here? Like
Yeah,
he's saying, I connected with that board right away. This is the bet. I like that quickness of his decision.
definitely. And it's actually pretty funny because I've been watching a lot, commentating all these events, and I see a very high frequency of continuation bets on flops, which generally, like, it's good to have a delayed C bet strategy as well mixed in, because you don't always just want to be betting, when you have hands and when you don't. So I'd be interested to see people who aren't like used to this game that might be taking more of a delayed C bet strategy and how that's going to work out for them.
And Brandon did straddle this hand, so JJ with the King Jack of Spades, pretty strong. He can have the 7-6 of Hearts again.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one because
I think it's a card
he's
reader
in
error.
position.
He had that hand last hand.
This is a really good hand to have in position. Yo, what's up, Skull Mike? We haven't met yet, but love to come out over there at the lodge. Always a fun time.
Yeah, Mike. Last time I saw Mike, I said, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" He had to leave. He played on their stream, and I guess it was a pretty volatile stream.
Yeah,
But hey,
those
buddy,
can get crazy.
glad to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing great. Hope you have a Merry Christmas coming up.
And this
I
is
do
a
say Merry
interesting
Christmas.
flop.
I know a lot of people say Happy Holiday. I say Merry Christmas. If it offends you, let me be straight honest. I don't care. Merry Christmas to everyone. And Happy Hanukkah.
I'll give the happy holidays for those who
That
need
care. Ethan's a caring guy. He loves everybody.
And this is a super interesting turn because JJ now just has a million outs, but also like, and you can see JJ's ahead on this turn.
He has a million bricks though as well.
Yeah. Oh, this is the beauty of this spot though, is with this overbet. It's like, sure, he has a lot of breaks, but that's if Brandon thinks that he just has what he has, which a lot of the times he is going to have what he has. But it's interesting because like you can do this with
That's
a lot of
huge
hands.
bet.
Yeah, and this bet actually seems a little less bluffy with the 9 on the turn because the 9's just going to hit Brandon so much that when you bet this turn, it's like fully just saying like, okay, I have either an overpair or sometimes even a set. But JJ, I mean, when he sees that turn, he's like loving life.
This is coach and coach. That's what we talked about earlier is how the coaches were going to play. I love this, man.
Yeah, and this is I think this call is kind of like a I want to outplay you kind of call. Ooh, what a river. That's going to be a river shove.
Oh my God.
And most likely a call. This is a great spot to overbet shove as JJ. You're blocking the jack of spades, so there's no way queen jack is in here. You pretty much always have the nuts, but your opponent's going to have a lot of hands that he's going to have to call a shove with. Does go for a smaller sizing than a shove. Might get more calls based on player, but yeah, Brandon, you can see his smile because he knows he's like, well, looks like I kind of have to call, but this bet actually looks a little more nutted than a shove would look.
Well, he knows he can't beat a jack. If he has ace jack and he had ace jack of spades and missed his flush, he got there with a straight. But
I mean, you have to call based on action. There's no way that. I mean, your opponent pretty much only has pocket jacks and 10 jack that would do this, but I don't think 10 jack is over betting the turn. It literally has to be exactly what JJ has or queen jack of spades.
Oh, he makes the call.
Yeah, and he has to. I mean, that's just unfortunate. That is the absolute worst river. That is probably, I would have liked an all-in from JJ. I don't see the point in keeping the 1.1 for Brandon, but I don't know. Maybe he had a read that he would get called more often if he lets his, if he thinks that Brandon doesn't want to rebuy and Brandon's like, well, if I call here, then I don't have another buy-in, then that sizing actually works because you're keeping your opponent in the game, which actually sometimes people will say I don't have much, behind. So if I call this, I'll try to run it up rather than like losing it all.
Well, what was the significance of JJ putting the 50 on top of that $1,600 bet? He made it 1650. Why the 50?
He needs to pay everyone for drinks. He needs the drink money. He needs the tip money.
I just didn't know. Like, is that some kind of strategy to make someone call?
There's definitely a strategy like that in
That is
smaller
brutal, right?
pots. Just for example, like if someone raises 16 instead of 13, it looks a lot stronger, even though it's only $3 more.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some aspects that works. I think in that spot that was simply just I want a little more value. And Brandon does rebuy, so it seems like the shove would have gone through.
Oh, he's gonna go get chips. I don't think they have enough. I think he's gonna buy like another 5,000 or something.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of cash. He's got it like that.
But I wanted to see the coaches play each other, and it's amazing how two guys was totally in the spectrum cards match up, and they both make a hand.
Yeah.
Spade draw, heart draw, pair of sevens going for the straight, 10 Jack Queen going for the straight, and everybody gets there.
That's a huge chance. I don't like on that game.
How y'all like the new graphics, guys? For anyone who's watched the previous ones.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
They look awesome, right?
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah, it changes the dynamics of the screen. It's more inviting, maybe. I like the detail, how you can see the details, and green's okay once in a while, but these are nice. It takes a lot of time doing a stream.
Oh yeah.
You're checking everything out when the stream's over. The graphics are, it takes hours to do all this stuff. It's not just like, oh, let's click it over here and we're done.
Oh, Mike, I think JJ he doesn't do coach, but he does his bankroll challenges that he puts online, and he does that specifically to try to get people into poker. So it's not a coach, but like a
Well, it's like coaching.
like an influencer.
If you're influencer. He's
Yeah.
giving you knowledge, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to tell you how to do bankroll. That's coaching.
Yeah, and he does full
Not
extensive.
coaching on how to play, but
Yeah.
how to manage your bankroll. It's teaching, not coaching.
Yeah, and he does full extensive, run backs of the things that he's doing during these bankroll challenges, exactly like what happens in each day. It's actually a really cool thing
And
to follow.
also, JJ is a coach. Skull Mike says, since JJ, he told me to quit playing. That is coaching. That is coaching. So I take his coaching to heart. I told him I'll think about his advice, but it's not going to look good for his coaching credentials. Guys, like Ghost of M said, man, please hit that like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. It does help us here. We love doing this stream for you guys. We love having our players perform the way they do. These guys are some of the best out there.
Yeah, JJ is actually overall a cash game player, but he's definitely in the tournament grind.
Oh, I always partake. Yes.
Yeah, well, his eyes light up when he sees those big tournament, $1 million guarantee, $400,000 guarantee, $200,000 guarantee.
Ooh, we're gonna see a re-raise by JJ here in position against Uchan. Ooh, and we got a domination station over here. But I wonder, I don't think Uchan really wants to continue out of position with a hand like this. Unless it's a re-raise, but we could see some sticky calls here for sure. If it was suited, he might want to continue more, but we can definitely see a call, just based on how the action has been going. It's also a smaller sizing as a 400.
I thought you were staying up and down.
And Uchan does fold. Good fold.
Lance, right? Are you staying up?
Biggest thing that a lot of people can take away from any stream you ever watch is being out of position absolutely sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, the place never closes, so.
We can go on the cheaper side if you want to play to do 50.
What would we do, 100?
We normally would do 100. But I think we should do 50.
So what happens? Yeah,
If you lose, you have to pay everything.
Man, I know it's my mom.
Okay, then you do good.
Oh, if you're the last one sitting, you have to pay everybody $50. Sure.
It creates a lot of action.
We have a gang of players that's slightly lower in action levels than might be.
Sweetie, I feel better knowing.
I got everyone to agree, Chad.
Yeah? Nice.
Oh, and Brandon added an extra 5K. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
in the
he-
mix.
He said he brought. I talked to him before the stream. He said he brought X, and he's gonna just do one initial buy-in. I said, well, from my perspective, I think having 2 bullets is better than 1. So maybe break it up. You know, your total buy-in in half.
Yeah.
If you're, okay with that, because you never know when you're gonna run aces and the kings and get felted. You don't get felted for your whole stack the first time.
Yeah.
Because if Ron or Chaz have it, they're covering you.
Yeah.
So you might as well try to do 2 bullets. And he just ran into it that hand.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be there to the 19th as well.
Okay.
I actually
And
leave at
we actually
5
saw
a.m.
Mephisto fold Queen Jack suited in the small blind. You can see the importance of being out of
I literally
position
just flew in here to play this
is going to have you fold a lot of the time with hands like that.
New York City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I know Drew from like ACR and stuff. So.
Okay. Well, welcome. So you just flew this afternoon?
Yep. Just to
Have you
play.
been here before?
Nope, first time.
There's
Ooh.
Lance turns a good card.
Or do anything?
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I did.
and I wonder how-
friend
I
over
think
here
he might check
from
this
my
one back,
stream and
but
stuff, he, like, took me to a
I wonder
bar
how he
that
wants to
was
take this. It
That's
does go with the
like-
check line.
You got
That's some
some Texas bar.
authentic Texas barbecue.
Very good. Well, next time you come.
Maybe Chaz is worried about his kicker.
Yeah, a little more time.
Well, good. I hope you've had a nice experience.
Yeah, it's been good so far. The food was amazing. They actually showed us in like the back of the restaurant.
Yeah, we're on hand 22, and we've already had so many big pots.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got like a personal grand tour.
We had big pots taken down without a flop. Right? You guys
Yeah.
went in $800 without seeing a flop just because of the straddles.
Some of the finest people. you're-
Underground, if you want to, but it's like I'm okay.
Where do you have to go if you wanted to play? Like, if you wanted to go to a casino?
Closest is like upstate New York. So
Yeah,
maybe
Ch
2
Chad's
hours.
been taking down some pots.
But Atlantic City's kind of dying. It's kind of dead.
Stand up, everyone.
Chad's a super regular. I'm sure everyone knows him. He plays on all the streams. Played on
They improved
Hustler,
the sports betting
Lodge,
Yeah.
TCH.
So right
Yeah,
now
we're
there's
doing a
bill,
stand-up game too.
like, the
Looks like
Poker
Sean
passes,
decided to
Poker
leave
passes
after
next year, 'cause they-
that
they
one
tied
big
Poker
hand with
bill
Chaz with the
slots and
8s versus
all
kings.
of that stuff.
Yeah, he probably
But
wanted, take a shot, and then it's all like, oh, maybe it's a little bigger than he was expecting. A lot of people, like a 5-10 game in Vegas, some of them are capped at 1,500. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, so like,
And this is uncapped.
this is uncapped. This is really like basically a 5-10, 20, 40, 80, 100. Or 5-10, 25, 50, 100, and so on. No, I mean, this is a really big game.
Yeah, we want your first time. to be
Okay, we're
here.
doing the stand-up game. So the last player standing has to pay everybody else. I'm gonna say maybe 100 in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised if more, but yeah, probably
If
around
it is, I have a reason
100.
to come back.
200 would be stiff.
Yeah,
You
it
know.
would definitely. I mean, someone like Lance would just lose their whole stack.
Yeah, I'm playing that.
Well, he's got more behind that. I'm
Playing
sure.
that
I'm
is like a
sure.
15.
Yeah.
I'm definitely playing the 3K.
Ooh, this one's a
That'll probably be my
interesting
favorite.
spot with the
I love me. I
threes.
love me a good
I wonder.
receiver.
I thought that Yu-Chan might take it aggressive with threes, but just because of the stand-up game, but does go with a just call. Wow, and we see Yu-Chan flopping bottom set, and Brandon's gonna be continuing a lot. So,
That's the only one I regret not playing.
although he does have a 10
Oh
out.
yeah.
You know,
It's like how much mil? Garrett? It's like 10 mil or
15.
15 mil. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
It's a nice
a lot of
one.
the times you can just smooth call
Yeah.
here if you're
It's a
Yu-Chan.
lot of people.
Yeah, what's he afraid of?
Actually, it's not that much. It's 10K.
Well, it really
A
depends. What he
Broadway,
want.
any Broadway card?
Third place female, you think?
Yeah, I would say it really depends on what he wants. Like, if he wants to try to start getting value against Ace King, which is never going to fold anyway.
I mean,
So
they
it
gave away
does
enough
look like he's
seats,
going
so-
that route. I think a lot of the hands that bet on this flop and continue are gonna still call this bet. So I like the sizing,
When you win, you have to show the
and I mean this sizing might make Brandon even call right now against a certain player.
Yeah, and Brandon's saying,
Ooh.
what's going on? A check raise?
And he re-raised here. Is what it looks like. Yeah, and Yu-Chan is just licking his chops. In this spot, I think you just want to call more often, but You can go either way for sure. It's really the stack that Brandon has.
Oh, and it's just a call.
Yeah, and I really like this. It's gonna go check bet a lot of the time. What a good call by Yuchan here. This is definitely the way he's gonna get the most value out of a lot of hands. Oh, but that card is like actually not Yuchan's favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Does leave Brandon drawing dead, but oh, and we see a check. A king on the river or a queen could even be. Oh my gosh, this queen. Now Yuchan is only beating bluffs. He essentially has a bluff catcher here. So depending, I mean, he is just going to call probably on the river, but depending what Brandon does. Like,
Can he value bet here? No, because Brandon can't. Well, Brandon can't call. He has a queen for the show.
no,
Showdown.
it's less about Brandon calling and more about Brandon's range, which is going to have ace queen and ace king. And anything that's 3-betting you on this flop, pretty much just boat it up. That's not queen jack.
Designated driver.
No.
Brandon would not make this play.
Oh
with
my goodness.
good fold. Yeah, and I'm fine with
Oh,
the
and you have to
blocker.
show your hand on the stand-up game. So he saw how far behind he was.
I'm fine with the blocker bet by Yuchan. I'm not sure if it's good to commit yourself in that spot though, unless you're targeting specifically like ace jack. But regardless, takes it down.
Chris is gonna take care of you guys for a little while.
One seat's taken. Yuchan is sitting in the stand-up game with threes full of aces. Look at JJ's up 3.1. Big
Yep.
Daddy Chaz is up 1.8. Yuchan's up $1,000. And Mephisto 6,000 is up almost $1,000. How you like those V pips? Are the 18 and higher is
Yeah.
solid, or maybe all the 30s are pretty solid?
I would say the 30s have been pretty good hands. Brandon might have gotten in the mix a few too many times, but it's still only like hand 24. So like the VPIP isn't as crazy when you think about it, because it's only that means Brandon's only he's played 6 hands out of these 24, which isn't as crazy when you think about it.
Is there anybody on the Lakers that's not one?
I haven't seen AD.
I thought their line was the line just looked super weird to me earlier. Lakers are like +6 or something. The Lakers have been really good this season, right?
No.
Well, lately they have been. They're 10-12.
Yeah, you want like an 8-game win?
Yeah, I agree. I don't I don't think he's
Yeah, he has like 40.
it's a rough spot. I think if you get shoved on though, you're kind of not happy. But yeah, you are just gonna get called by like ace jack a lot of the time. Yeah, I've been surprised at how nitty Chaz can be sometimes.
Heads up when there's 2 people left. They're both gonna be like.
Because sometimes he's also like really wow. John has been getting in the mix here.
He loves those suited, semi-connected little gapper cards.
It's definitely if no one's watching the stream, it's definitely good for like. It doesn't look like he's gonna have hands like this a lot of the time. He's just his range is not gonna look like having something like 9-6. So when he does hit, it can be pretty profitable.
Yeah, and a red 9's a bad card for him.
Ooh.
So everybody's got a pair.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot. I'm curious to see how Yuchan goes with this.
With the redraw to the flush.
We got to get you on one of these streams, Mike. Be fun to have you. A 9 would be an interesting river. Ooh.
Oh, and John would have made the best hand if he calls the 150. He's kicking himself right now.
Yeah, you could see him look away. He's like, gosh dang it, the one time I don't call. But he probably wouldn't have got much anyway in this spot.
Nobody got in his seat. He'd save him whatever the spiff is,
Yeah.
Ace queen is good.
And Lance gets to breathe. Gets to, not have to go through this. it's really stressful in this spot when you're playing the stand-up game and you're like not sure if you even like he came last minute, didn't know he was gonna play.
Right. He's out there
Yeah.
playing Big O.
25 out front.
And he takes down a $600 pot, which is basically all that he's lost in the previous hands he's played, probably total. So he hasn't been out of, in big pots or out of line playing too aggressively. He's got it in there with marginal hands and ended up taking down a decent sized pot.
Yeah, and part of that is when you're eating wings, you're
Yeah.
you're
You
gonna-
want to sit down and enjoy dinner.
Yeah.
They started off super terrible. Anthony Davis has been playing like MVP caliber basketball.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some fun commentary booths. We had Jesse Sylvia and Nikki Limo here, so it'd be fun to have you. It's
Yeah, but they don't need you to do that.
It looks good.
popping off, hopefully.
Four races this
Paper
week.
and on the court, man. They got freaking
Jesse Sylvia was such a nice guy, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, everybody you meet in poker, other than myself, everybody's super nice. They, I mean, no matter win or lose, and that's the best part about this thing, is that win or lose, they're still friends. When you're friends before, you're friends after, or you make friends.
Yeah.
And you always have a great conversation with someone that you're not around with, just to see their viewpoints or different perspectives or whatever.
Oh yeah, I was talking about playing Mike, but also commentary. I think both would be fun. I'm not sure if you're able to do that, but
And I show it.
we got a. I think we're gonna see. We don't see defend by the 6-5.
That's an easy way to see.
Yeah, Mephisto has definitely been. It's weird because a lot of times when someone doesn't 3-bet or 4-bet as much, I tend to like hands like 6-5 a little more because a lot of the times you're just not going to connect with their range when you do hit. But yeah, I definitely like the fold out of position. I think if he's in position, he definitely calls.
Not to take it out the game, but that's a hell of a beard.
Oh, on Mephisto? Oh,
Yeah. That thing's
Yeah.
taking some time to get like that.
No, and even the name Mephisto and the beard, it's so. You could definitely do some wizard cosplay with that.
So are you like from Texas, or did you move here for poker and whatever?
Yeah, Mephisto could do like the Gandalf for sure. You just gotta get the costume and everything.
Raised in Texas.
Utah moved here for his horses
5 folds,
and his little girl.
6 folds.
I actually left it.
Ooh, pocket sevens for Chaz here.
I mean, every time I've seen, I've been a part of all the streams. Chaz, every time he has 7, flops a set. 100% of the time he's flop sets with 7s.
Do you know the sevens always coming from? They say that during the WSOPs. It's a big like meme because every time someone's been all in, like 95%, 5%, sevens always coming.
Nice.
7 always comes.
And there's only a 1 outer. He's going to get it.
Makes up
It's going to be ace, ace, 7.
in his job. I don't know if that is.
Told you.
Ooh, and we got club ace of clubs for John. So this one's gonna be pretty big because Chad's definitely gonna continue on this board. I'm wondering how John wants to take this.
I think he's going to raise.
It's interesting. It's a weird hand because if you raise, you definitely don't have as many flushes instantly, but then you can also do that with. Does go with the call. Oh no, it looks like a raise. Yeah, I mean, I think kings are going to do this as protection, but then Chaz might call more because he thinks a king is doing this for protection. So it's cool that you could actually take these raises as like you can do this with when you actually already have a made flush. Sometimes.
Now, what about a red 6?
Red 6 probably gets a check.
John gets there.
And this is a great card for John to check back on. I'd love to see a check back, but he might think his opponent has something like a set, so it does go with a small bet. And this might still get looked up. I think Chaz might want to call an extra street. It does call. I'm curious to see what John does on this river.
Chaz, of course, has a flush as well, only it's with the 7 of clubs.
Yeah, this might be SPR. Or no, this might be the stack to pot ratio to shove.
He does.
He
You,
does
you
call.
called it. SPR at its finest.
Yeah, and this is gonna get called a lot more than I would say 300 would get called, and all in would get called more often than any other bet.
He either has it or he doesn't. Right?
Yeah, but you are sitting down with the 7 of clubs. It's not the best one, and the problem is like Chaz is like, oh, it's only 1.4K. You know,
Yeah.
he's like,
To win 4K.
yeah, I don't think you're getting the right odds here.
That was Bob's win. Pretty good.
Oh, Chaz changed his GQ. Got his GQ picture in there now.
Oh, that's cool.
When you got it from-
Oh, I didn't see that. That's cool.
He
It
does make the call.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you're getting enough odds to really call there, but nice hand by John. Yeah, it's a weird spot because John can definitely bluff here, but with short stacks tend to bluff less in that spot. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Mike. Yeah, I was like, well, it's also just 1.4K, so it depends. Like chat, I've definitely back when I was playing higher stakes, and then I would play like some lower stakes. I'd be like, yeah, but it's only 300. But then I was like, yeah, but they're never bluffing. Like, it's always so strange.
Yeah, it's the raise on the turn that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random game, dude.
Maybe they did. 'Cause they didn't pass the one for all. I know that 100%. You know, sports
And then
betting is
again, they
online.
both turned to flush.
That's the one they didn't. But I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
heard
great
of
to have
it.
Mephisto out. You know, it was so when I was looking, we have a schedule that we have back here, knowing who's coming, everything. And I saw Mephisto on the schedule. I was like, what?
I'm definitely gonna look
Couldn't believe it. It turns out he's just he came here for a day, traveling. I think he's going out to Vegas next,
I may play online.
probably to either play online or play the events coming up.
I get to sit in my chair like this and just click.
Yeah, Meph
That's how I
definitely
make my
seems
money.
like a cool dude. I haven't talked to
sit
him
down
much,
and
but
Yeah, that's I played quite a bit against him. I like the tournaments. Yeah, mainly play tournaments. Sometimes cash. I used to play a lot of cash.
and he's played really well so far.
Yeah, hasn't gotten out of line, overplayed his
They're
hands.
pretty tough.
He just fits right into this game.
Yeah, and I was curious where the dynamic. Oh, so chat. A lot of times after a hand like that, you might want to take the ace and raise it, but Chaz just folds, so pretty good on him not to get out of line.
I think it's a lot easier than ACR. The first time I
Ooh,
The anonymous part.
and
That's the only thing
Brandon
that-
getting feisty with these hands. He's
But it's
probably
still
just gonna
pretty,
get folds all around. It's actually a great spot for him.
Just almost give you money sometimes.
I like the sizing. Knowing that his opponents are probably weak here. Ooh, and wow, Rhonda. Yo, Rhonda, let's go, Rhonda. Get in there. Yeah, show him that bluff.
She is a bully. She will push these boys around.
Hell yeah, let's go. I love seeing women do great in poker. That's awesome.
She's solid as they come, man.
Great hand, Rhonda.
Nice bet sizing, right?
Yeah. No, I mean that's great. I mean she's gonna limp raise all her really good hands, so using that queen blocker is perfect.
The game.
That was pretty good.
But on Sundays,
Yeah, I'm gonna start following him.
it's
He
better
says he's a
because
crusher.
when it's a
So
weekday,
great for him.
when it's a weekday, it can get a little red. 25, it can get a little red sometimes. But
Yeah, the
recently,
stand-up
they've
game
been,
is really
like,
fun. Nice to see you,
they've been-
Camila. I hope you're having a
it's
nice
tough to
day.
get a lot of new faces on the side. Like,
That's pretty cool.
even cash.
We'll
games
come over here and
they've
stand
been,
up by
like,
him just so you can
having
participate.
some like influencers and stuff promoted on like Twitter, promoted on whatever,
Thank you.
and it's been.
Camila
been
likes to
Once
see-
again, Rhonda too rich. Rhonda's a trooper. The other night she got kind of wrecked in our 10-25 game. She got unlucky. She had some really rough spots, and her coming out and doing it again. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to come out and do that, especially like with such good players in the field. She's hanging in there and playing.
She holds her
just as
own,
well.
that's for sure. She definitely holds her own. She's not intimidated by any of these betting. She made a big call against Michael Jackson the other day. I don't know if you guys remember Michael Jackson. He used to play on our streams a lot, but
Oh, you
I,
said
I used to listen to his tapes back when I was a kid.
he died before you were born.
But he only died in like 2010, right? 29.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was 10 years old. Was Mephisto gonna get feisty with the 7 deuce? Oh no, okay. I was gonna say who's.
Yeah, too bad the 7 deuce game isn't in play.
I went as Michael Jackson for Halloween when I was like 8.
Like you feel like
You can pass as him right now.
You played it all recently, or?
I haven't played in about 2 years.
I love the support for Ronda. We see Chaz defending the 5 deuce offsuit. You can see how the stand up game really. Ooh, Yu-Chan liking this flop.
The PLO on Bubba is very good.
really? Oh, then
I was
Tournaments
rushing
do
at
have
510
We're gonna
PLO
see
on there.
that 100% C
Like,
bet.
I don't PLO, and I was not very good at it.
Although I like to use this Jack 10 hand as some checks.
Yeah, PLO.
That was when I was learning
PLO
PLO.
and ACR suck. Same guys.
I mean, it's a lot different than playing like one of these live games. You're gonna have 4 people going to the flop.
All right, guys. The Nightbot put out the link for Mephisto 6000. Do as I just did a second ago and click on Twitch and follow this guy, and let's follow him. See how well he does. Hopefully, we can follow him through Vegas and all his other trips and enjoy watching him win.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends going out to Vegas. Anyone who's going, good luck. Hope y'all do well. If not, come over here and play at Rounders. We got some awesome tournaments coming up.
$200,000 Christmas bounty coming up.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. That'd be a lot of Christmas money. Get some nice presents.
Yeah.
Amazon will thank you.
If I win, I can pay rent. No. Yu-Chan waking up with King Queen a lot. It's weird because these dynamics are really funny. Sometimes you just kind of like run into getting a lot of hands and people are just like, man, he's raising with every hand, like he's just abusing the stand-up game. But then you're just like actually getting every hand.
And the one time you want to play hard against him, he has it for sure. And you're either getting stacked or getting crippled.
Ooh, and Chaz has another defending hand. Bleeding a little, unluckily. He's got in some rough spots.
And they played a million hands against each other, probably.
Oh, yeah, million.
How do you feel about the change in the city?
But Yu-Chan hits it with the queen.
Yeah.
And
this is
backdoor spades.
This is a spot I'd like to see a check back from Yu-Chan a lot more. And then do a delayed C-bet. But from what we've seen, it seems like everyone's doing like a just 100% C-bet strat on the flop. But this is a really good flop to just check back.
The streets were dead. You had like 8
Does go
PM
with the bet.
curfew. Unless it's like an emergency, you know what I mean?
Yeah, specifically with the king of spades, I'd like to see a lot more checkbacks.
Do you get fined if you're out?
Hmm?
Do you get fined if
Yeah,
you're
you
out?
would get fined. Yeah. And it was like people throwing like, of course, parties and stuff at like underground bar locations, and some people would hear the music. while they're
Chaz
walking
looking
through
to
the
get
bar,
in the mix here.
find the place, shut them down,
Does call.
take away liquor licenses.
And he's a 9 or a king, for sure.
Yeah, now he's drawing
Yeah,
dead.
this
But
summer
this
was the
is
first
a
summer
good
it was
hand, or a good turn for his range. Although not for his specific hand.
I'd say a lot of people are moving out.
Yeah, a lot of people move.
Wondering to see how Yu-Chan takes this turn.
Like all of the cost of New York, the cost of like Manhattan homes, all of that went down. Like it was, and in the suburbs.
Yeah, betting a fold for sure.
I would have worked
Yeah.
this weekend. I couldn't. I was watching the kids.
Like how what's everybody getting?
Pretty sick, dude.
People get these stimulus checks. They buy
No,
them.
that's 7% unemployment.
Chaz might have other plans here. You might be floating to bluff some rivers, but
Yeah, if he calls here and a spade comes,
does
fold.
fold. Yeah.
And they got like 10, 40.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what would have happened if Yu-Chan checks the flop there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
'Cause it definitely, if Yu-Chan checks the flop, that turn hits Chaz so much, I think Chaz will just bet. But
Yeah.
you know, also you might want to protect your equity with the king queen. I think I like to protect less with that combo, but
You know what I mean?
you know, you can take hands any way you want.
Yeah,
And they're always
I
gonna
think the
work.
biggest thing you're worried about only is the flush getting there.
Yeah.
If you have the top pair with a good kicker, and he's calling, you got to put him maybe on a flush draw, straight draw, with that stand up game in play.
Yeah. What's cool with the with
Straddles.
what's cool with check back? Yeah, we got some big straddles. What's cool with check back a lot of the time is that you can pot control while also getting more value from hands that wouldn't normally get value in spots like that. Let's just say Chaz turned like a 10 or a jack.
You also could just have 2 pairs.
Yeah.
This puts Poker Athlete in a tough spot with ace 10 with everybody behind him and the straddles being out there.
Yeah, I'd like to see big raise or a fold. I think he's going to go on the more aggressive route from what we've seen.
He's smiling too. He's always like, all right, let's go, guys. Gosh dang it.
And you don't need to go too big with Lance in the
I think
button.
I think he should go like 4 something. I think 315 is a little small.
Well, partly he's buying the button while also keeping it.
Yeah, but you have
where-
Yu-Chan behind you for 100. He's not
Yeah.
going to fold for 215. He might fold for 315.
Yeah, it really depends if you want folds, though. This is a...
You do. You want to get your seat. This stand-up game is expensive.
Yeah.
And Rhonda's calling. I don't think Yu-Chan's calling here. Oh, I thought she called.
Nah, she ended up folding. And
Oh, okay,
he does
did
get it
take.
through.
Wow, that's a good bet then.
Yeah, I
I
mean...
thought it was a little light for a $100 straddle, just from Yu-Chan's position and being him that player.
Well, it's not too bad to get called from the big blind because sure he is going to call you with a lot of hands that have a lot of equity. But he's also going to call you with a lot of hands that are dominated. Let's just say ace 5, 10-9, jack 10, 10-8. He's going to call with a lot of these hands that are dominated and are in a rough spot. So where if you both flop top pair, as we saw with Brandon and JJ where they had 7-6 and king jack, Brandon being in that spot calling has to call in the river. Because he's dominated, it can get rough. So you're not always looking for folds. Really depends on. Also, you go bigger and you get re-raised, you're in a really tough spot with a hand like ace 10. Whereas 300 usually just does the same job.
But like if you just
Man,
put
when
one
you're running that or hard dead, it's the worst game ever.
yeah.
It really is.
But yeah, it's definitely a dynamic of the stand-up game. We're gonna see a raise from Lance here with the pocket 10s.
And we're down to 2.
Is it Lance and...
No, it's Chaz and JJ.
Ooh. It looks like Lance is standing.
No, Lance is sitting.
Right here?
Come on, man.
He won. He won with the.
Oh, with the ace queen, that's right.
Yeah, he turned to queen.
He's just very tall.
Yes, he is.
That means he's coming off.
Ooh. He's going to often get folds, but I want to see how he plays this. Does go for a bet.
Let's see who's out there.
I'm about to go bother some people again. Preston's out there.
Yeah,
Rory is
Chuck.
out there.
Yeah, Rory.
I'm very surprised. Preston's up playing.
He bet 150, representing 3 of a kind.
Where he's played on screen.
Yeah, I mean,
He almost took the seat and then winning it.
Really?
Yeah.
150. I like smaller bets or I like checkbacks. These are kind of the spots like I was saying earlier. Like we've seen an almost 100% C bet strategy by a lot of players, and delayed C bets are a really underutilized thing. They really keep in a lot of bluffs while also keeping in worse hands. Let's just say Chaz turns a 7, he's going to call 150, whereas on that flop you're just targeting an ace.
All right, guys. Thanks for hitting the like button. We appreciate it. Make sure you keep hitting it, though. Need to get 5,000 likes tonight to go an extra hour.
Yeah, this is another pocket 2s in the Brandon spot. This is another spot where I'd rather just see a fold from Brandon. Ooh, and JJ is getting desperate with the stand-up game. And he's going to lose a lot less if he were to win this hand than he were to if he doesn't sit down. Ooh, and it looks like he's not going to step into any good hands, actually. Oh, Yu-Chan with 10s is brutal for
Everybody.
everybody. Yeah, it's a lot of dead money. He's probably going to go like 550 here.
He's going big.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like going this big. I guess it's about it's about 550. Um, actually, yeah, this is an interesting spot. Tens definitely want to call, but honestly, there's so much dead money that it's like whatever. Like take down 400 going in the next hand, which is probably what's gonna happen. Yeah, Chaz actually has a hand that I'd rather get in the mix with more.
Wow, look at him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd rather get in with 5-4 than a hand like Queen 8, for sure. And this is actually really dangerous for Chaz because Chaz is not gonna be. This sizing definitely screams Ace King, Ace Queen, not tens. So.
And he flops a pair with
my
open and straight draw.
God, this is getting in.
This is going in for sure.
This. They have such big stacks. Wow, guys. Oh, and Yuchen does go for a check. Very nice recognition of the. Oh,
There it is.
Well, Chaz got a seat, guys. Chaz does go
Chaz
for another
is
check.
trapping, yeah.
This is a great check on the flop by Yuchan. Yuchan's gonna get away with not losing a lot in the spot.
He's going to check back. He knows us. No, he's looking at golly. I don't know.
I think I would bet if I were Yuchan, and there's just too many hands that you're going to give equity if you check back. I like the check on the flop.
That's 800 right there.
Yeah, and this is interesting because I think Chaz is in a shitty position for getting value. He can't really raise because raising looks nutted and calling looks nutted. This flop is just like Chaz has pocket sixes, threes, fours, twos, ace five, 5-4 suited. There's so many combinations of hands that are beating tens here. And so when he I like the raise most. I think a raise is going to allow him to have bluffs here, but also be called by a hand like tens when he has 5-4 here. So great recognition of the spot. I think a lot of people would accidentally call here when it looks just as nutted and allows your opponent a free river.
I'm just getting back into working out.
And I like the sizing too.
It's 1,500, which represent 1-5, meaning he has 1-5 in his hand for the straight.
Beard's got water.
Beer does have water. True story.
Yeah, this is a really depending on what happens on the river here. Ooh, that's such a bad card for Yu-Chan.
Well, I normally do bourbon.
That is a card that he's going to call a shove with because all of Chaz's bluffs did not get there. And now 6-4 is counterfeit. Still beating 7s, 8s, and 9s. It's brutal. I think if Yu-Chan can sniff this out, but once you've called the turn bet, this is so rough. And this is, this is rough. I mean, Chaz will put you in the spot with bluffs. He's every time I played with him, he's put me in the spot with bluffs. And yeah, I mean, hard thing is it's hard to have a lot of bluffs, but there are a decent amount, King Jack of Hearts that turned to hard draw would play like this. Jack 10 of Hearts that turned to hard draw would play like this because they can't win unless they. Well, actually, no, never mind. Yu-Chen has a 10 of Hearts, so 10 of Hearts is actually pretty bad in terms of Yu-Chen finding bluffs here. There are a lot of combos that Chaz is just calling with pre-flop that have the 10 of Hearts, so having the 10 of Hearts really denies a lot of bluffs, but you're getting such a good price to call. Almost 3-1. Yeah. This is a rough spot. I don't envy a Yu-Chan.
Man, it looks like the table's like extremely quiet too, letting these guys have this big moment. Oh, he makes the call.
Brutal. Nice hand by Chaz. Great recognition of the raise. That raise on the turn really sealed the deal. Awesome hand by Chaz. Ooh, and that's got to be painful.
Look, JJ's getting his chips ready. He's paying everybody $50 for the last man standing. Looks like the kid is gonna come in the seat 7.
Oh, sorry.
Nice answer.
Add that to it.
Chaz takes down a monster 17.2K
Yeah,
pot.
insane.
Whew.
Also an extra 50 on the side from JJ. That's what JJ did the 1650 for. He needed an extra 50 for when he lost the
Yeah,
standard
and he
game.
was wise. He got that is one of those hands, guys, where these guys have a lot of history and they make moves against each other, and sometimes it's not a move.
It's really hard for, if we think about the combinations that Chaz is going to do that with, 8-7 of hearts, 9-7 of hearts, so many hands that do not contain a 5, although, you know, it's tough. It's tough when you think about trying to find bluffs there. It's really hard to find it, but the thing is, sometimes you have so much knowledge playing against your opponent that you just think it's the right move.
25 out front.
Yeah, a lot of hands are not in as bad shape as people think they are pre-flop when you're heads up. Pretty much just kind of the game. And when you think about even a hand like ace-3 suited versus kings, for example, it's only behind by, it's only 33% dog. So a lot of the times, you know, taking these bluff lines can be really strong. And Chaz is going to instantly be rewarded with kings. What a
My
run.
goodness.
Doesn't look like he'll get much action.
Yeah, it was preceded with a $106,000.
Oh, and Lance is going to
Oh, really?
defend with the queen jack for sure.
It's nice to, finally win. It's cool.
Oh, stop bragging.
Gotta lose 100K first, and you'll start running good. That's 50.
Wow.
Goodness gracious. Action City.
We are getting some flops, y'all.
Just take your word on that.
Open end straight draw for Lance versus pocket kings for Big Daddy Chaz. And
I like
Chaz
the
has
check.
the clubs.
Yeah, and I like the check back by Chaz. We haven't seen many checkbacks that people have been doing, so I really like this check back. You know, you just let your opponent go 150 here. That I mean, obviously we would see if Chaz went bet, he would get more value, but regardless, I think this check back is really cool. And now, you know, Lance is in a spot where he kind of has to bluff, but I don't think he will. Yeah, it doesn't look like so. And I like check or bet by Chaz. Looks like he wants to target some 10s, though. Although, I don't know if I'd like to bet on this flop or on this board against my certain opponent.
He tried to make a bet, and Lance insta-folded. So.
Yeah. And that's the problem is, like, if you are getting called for 750 by Lance there, I don't think you're ever good with kings.
So I misspoke earlier saying JJ was a coach. JJ does bankroll management courses, but Poker Athlete is the coach.
Yes.
Poker Athlete, and that's our friend Brandon. But Poker Athlete, you see his hat he's wearing. He is a poker coach.
Yeah.
And you can find him on TikTok. I know he's on TikTok. Is he on YouTube as well?
I'm not sure on YouTube, but I know Instagram.
Instagram and TikTok. So if you guys want to check out Poker Athlete. That's Brandon. He's on TikTok and Instagram. He does poker coaching.
And he might put his interviews on YouTube now that I think about it. I've only seen what he's posted on Instagram.
Plus the
Oh, balance.
Yeah, I was gonna do Caesars, but I called my host and I was like, hey, just like, what's the night?
Super nice guy, though. Another pillar of the community.
But then the bathtub was in the middle.
Yeah, he just made a nice little trip around Texas playing a bunch of venues that I haven't even heard of.
Oh, yeah. He was checking all of them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some people who do that, who go to, like, every card room that they can across the states. See, we got a bar here. You see them drinking. They have a lot of fun here, you know. They chill out. It's a lot of chill vibes. Great location to play.
Yeah, you can find Poker Athlete on Instagram at poker_athlete.
Anyone here gonna be in Vegas Saturday?
And Tony the kid has been a dealer here at Rounders for a long time. He's in seat 7. He's coming in for I think around 1,000.
More than I've ever seen.
That's crazy. I've never seen him before.
What?
Yeah,
He dealt at the old location, the new location.
that's why I'm so surprised because I put in so many hours here.
He's a very solid player. He plays everything Big O. I don't know about Omaha, but I know he plays a lot of Big O and Hold'em. He's very solid for being as young as he's young like you.
Oh, he's really
Mhm.
he's like 26, 27?
Early 20s.
Early 20. Oh, dang.
Yeah, early 20s.
He does not look my age.
I know it's a kick in the butt, but I have to have something to do with,
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll buy you dinner, I'll do something nice for you.
Oh,
It's a great kid.
I'll take it.
Or, you know what?
I like food.
All right.
It doesn't show, but trust me, I do.
Did we see if Yu-Chan added on?
I didn't see yet, but we'll find
Where are
out
you
because
staying at? In
I know Chad is up to
I'm staying at
almost 18,000 right now.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
staying at
try
the
it.
Link for 2 days, but then I go to the Aria for 5 days.
Yeah,
and
I'd
I
be
go
really
back
interested to see if Chaz and Rhonda get into a big pot
Saturday. I'll be at the Aria.
since they're so deep
I'll try
stacked.
and get him either at the Aria or close to there.
Well, they played a lot of hands together, like I said, with
But
Yu-Chan
I'm not
and
putting him
Rhonda
that
and
night.
Big
I
Daddy
want you
Chaz.
to do
They are
that.
capable of getting their stacks in against each other on
That's okay. He'll
them
see
trying to
you.
outplay each other.
Okay.
And Rhonda limps in with the king.
Put him in the
Ooh, and she's gonna get an instant reward with the raise from John George by King 7. This is a ooh, and we were seeing a lot of kings and a lot of 7s folded.
Thank you.
Although I do think
Oh, yeah,
on
he
many
gets
flops,
some- he gets some
John is
big
going to take this down in
discounts.
position because we see so many folded outs for both of them.
He's the hotel.
Right. And Rhonda's not getting her hair done. She's actually getting a massage right now, guys. So
Yeah, we got a bunch of massage therapists too. You can just stay here and do everything.
oh yeah, we got 2 full swing golf simulators. Of course, this flop favors John, of course.
Yeah, and we're going to see that 100% C-bet strategy come into play.
Speaking of the coaches, I mean, that's one thing that I think a lot of players need to learn right away is that position means a lot.
Oh yeah, everything. Position and also knowing that, he wants to continue on that flop. That's why he can use hands like King 7 there is because he might feel as if his opponent's going to overfold on flops that they don't hit.
Yeah, most people don't check a flop that they hit. So if she's checking, she's basically surrendering, saying, I got the big cards as you're going to bet against me, knowing that I have big cards. So if you bet, I'll fold. I have no equity in continuing the hand.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see that, a lot of newer school idea is that you should almost 100% check out of position so with all your hands. But it always depends, if how people are taking the game for sure.
Yu-Chan definitely added on. He's up to 13.3K.
Dang, he went big mode.
It's
And-
uncapped, guys, so we'll see.
And we see Mephisto here with the ace-jack suited.
And these
You
are
can take this
nearby?
either way.
Okay.
He's coming in for a raise.
Yep.
Yeah. So it seems like he's more going for a standard raise fold way of playing, which is definitely a good way to play poker, where you fold until you have a good range, and you can do this with a lot of hands. So I wonder if he's doing this with hands like 8-7. We haven't seen it. We haven't been able to see if he's taking those lines, but it is a tactic that a lot of newer school players use.
Yeah, he hasn't gone out long. He's a very solid player. He hasn't tried to win with 7-3 by just trying to beat the table with a image of a streamer or whatever. He's playing very solid hands.
Yeah, and getting good flops too. Although this flop can definitely be scary. You're never really too comfortable with ace-jack when you get called, and then you get called again on this flop. But we're probably going to see a lot of bet folds. But Yu-Chan can definitely, with the 6s, continue in position, especially to this bet sizing.
Yeah, it's a quarter size bet maybe.
Yeah, and I think this actually was often going to get called.
Thank you so much.
See, my bet sizing, which I can easily get raised to fold, but I would do a 3/4 bet because I don't want to continue to hand.
Yeah, and that's it can be problematic to do that kind of play because then you're just not getting value when you need it.
Okay.
And a lot of poker is long-term value. To offset the times that you get unlucky, you need to be making as much money as you can when you do get lucky. So when you're not allowing yourself to have those times where I think Jesse Sylvia, when he played the cash game recently, is a really good example of when he was getting max value, but also folding in spots where a lot of players wouldn't, or keeping the pots in a way where he wasn't losing as much in cooler situations. So yeah, there's some cool things to look at and just see like, where am I missing value and where am I finding my value from?
Yeah, he had a lot of big pairs get out flopped and then folded to certain bet sizes, which I found, extremely strong. But I'm calling at least 7 out of the 10 folds he made.
Yeah,
Because my hand's so strong. I mean, how can you just hit that one card every time?
it's a product of experience and studying.
Mm-hmm.
His experience and his knowledge of the game. Jesse Sylvia is very, very strong.
For the fight and then taking him back.
Lance gonna bump it up with tens.
But he gets there early that morning. He's gonna be by himself all day. So I want to
When it does fold to a smaller raise, I think if you're gonna raise hands like Jack Deuce, you don't want to fold to small raises. I think if you're gonna do that, just like have maybe more folds, and just fold it. No need to raise it.
So when Poker Athlete raises right there, is he trying to steal the button?
Yeah,
Essentially.
yeah, he's stealing, but the thing is that because of the straddles, he's trying to steal, but you don't really want to steal with a hand like Jack Deuce because you're often going to get called by straddle anyway, and Jack Deuce just doesn't play well. So if you are raising, you need to be defending a little more when you get those smaller re-raises out of position.
Okay. Well, Ethan, we got 3 straddles out there now.
Yeah.
25, 50, 100. JG is not scared to straddle that 100 out there.
No, John has been playing super aggro. I'm actually really surprised. It's cool. I wasn't sure how he was going to take the up in stakes.
Well, he got a full double up from Chaz.
Yeah.
Chaz gets a full double up from you, Chad.
Yeah.
yeah, I love Rustin.
JJ basically got not a full double up, but a nice, healthy Poker Athletes chips.
Yeah.
Chips are moving around.
No, for sure. And whoa, we're seeing something uncharacteristic from Lance here. Get in there, Lance. Nice. This is a really cool hand to use as a re-raise. Actually, really good play by Lance here. You don't really see that a lot from. Not sure what his background is, but
Lance is a professional poker player.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this is all he does.
Yeah, from my experience, a lot of the older crowd doesn't really do a lot of those kind of plays, so it's really cool to see. I've met some older people who are putting a lot of time into studying and getting into the games. I think there's always a connotation like, oh, the young guys are doing this studying or whatever and like doing these dumb things, but like you can see he got in there with the ace-4 suited, and that's so cool to me. Really good play there.
And the bet sizing was so strong that anything lighter, JJ might have continued like Chaz did and made it straight against his ace-4. It could have made a bigger straight, because he has the 5-4.
Yeah.
He could have made a 6-high straight versus a wheel. Here's K-Mac. He played on the stream last time. If you guys remember K-Mac, he played on our last cash game on Tuesday.
Yeah. He was a fun guy. He was very nice. He was even though he lost a bit, he was very joyful after the stream and very nice as just an overall person.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
Played a lot of hands against that young man.
Ooh, and we got ace and an ace. This can be a rough spot for Chaz if an ace-high flop comes out.
You guys playing PLO tonight?
And they're super deep. I mean, some flops are going to be just absolutely brutal. Wow.
And here's Chaz with the nut flush draw, which got him last time when John George had the nut flush draw.
Yeah, and Chaz can bet here I think Ronda's going to fold a lot here, so a lot of hands that dominate you. And Chaz goes for a small bet.
If that was the queen of clubs instead of the king of clubs, it could got a little sticky. Ronda needed to hit a pair there to continue.
Yeah, I'm curious what Ronda would do if it was a queen high club draw like that. How it would go.
I think it's check call unless the club comes on the turn.
Yeah.
You guys are watching Rounders tonight. We're live streaming from Rounders Card Club here in San Antonio, Texas. I want to thank everybody out there watching the stream. Thank our buddy Skull Mike for jumping in while he's playing at another location, the Lodge, up in Austin, Texas. Mike does the commentary over there at the Lodge. Does a great job.
Yeah. I still haven't met Mike. I played video games with Doug, but I'd like to meet the rest of the team over there. They seem like really cool, and I've really enjoyed what they're doing over there.
I'll tell you, we're a weird situation. I was playing over there, playing their Big O tournament they have every Monday, and Doug Polk was walking towards me, but DQ was right behind him. They just did their stream or something. So I got up and started walking to him, and I saw Doug look at me, but I was looking at DQ to shake his hand and say, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And Doug kind of like reached his hand up, and I didn't see it till last minute, but I walked by to shake DQ's hand. He kind of like turned back. I'm sorry about that. Totally sorry about that, Doug. I'd love to meet you. You seem to be a nice guy. I love the podcast. So.
Ooh, this is a turn. I wonder how Brandon wants to take this. You can take this so many ways. Definitely a call at the very least, but from what we've seen, yeah, I definitely think he's a raise in order. I'd like a bigger sizing. Whoa, and Ronda just folds the ace. You can see the aggression can really pay off. Wow, what a fold by Ronda.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
I thought you might continue to see one more card.
Yeah, it can definitely be a little exploitable if you're overfolding those spots, but also you're not going to lose, a big pot. Like say if 9 of clubs were to come on the river, or if you were already outkicked. Yeah, it seems like her goal mostly was just hit a flush when calling pre-flop.
Might be the only one I've won. So good.
Wise words. Pete. Oh yeah, I was racking up.
There's Chaz with his infectious laugh that everybody loves. No matter where he's at, no matter what he's doing, you can find him by his laugh.
Oh no, I mean we're like 3 rooms away behind walls, and we can still hear his laugh.
That's the best part about doing this, because when he's laughing, having a great time, we hear it before the stream sees it.
Yeah.
And it's just a good time.
No, it's funny when you just hear like faint laughs in the in the distance.
Alright, put it on Ronda's death.
Ronda getting in the mix with a raise here. I wonder what she's got. Ace 10.
Queen 4 again.
He's keeping you in check.
Yeah, and Brandon's Poker Athlete's gonna want to defend this for sure.
Gotta stand up to you. What do you got against
Especially to the sizing.
They're giving each other action. You right?
Do I play shooters? I used to be top 1000 at PUBG. I was top player in a lot of different games, but I used to own an esports team, and because of that, I was actually hanging out with a lot of the guys who owned a lot of teams like that.
600.
And whoa, we're gonna see a quick raise. I'll get back to that in a sec. I don't think this raise is gonna work out this time, but I wonder how Ronda does it because he has a lot of equity.
Popping off. Again.
Oh, that'd be fun. I know me and Drew, when we were when we went to Austin for a trip, me and Drew were watching the Halo show. You were showing me that. It's pretty good. Yeah, I played Halo. I mean, I was 4, but I was playing Halo 2 all the time.
I believe Rhonda's going to continue here.
Yeah, and this is a flop
It's a
that she
big
wants
bet.
to. It is a big bet, and it's gonna have a lot of sets. I think if I were gonna bet the size, I would go like 1.4 instead of 1.1 because you really just don't want to call, and this is gonna get called more often than something like 1.4. Adding that extra 300, it's kind of crazy, but you think about it like I don't want to go too big, I don't want to lose too much, but when you add that extra 300, you actually lose less because you end up making it a lot scarier of a bet for a lot not much extra chips,
Wow,
but does
she
get a
lays
fold.
it down again.
Why though?
Brandon's playing good.
Oh
Or
yeah,
poker athlete. I'm sorry, I keep calling him Brandon. Poker athlete. We know him outside of poker, so he's a friend of ours. We like to call him Brandon, but he is poker athlete.
Yeah,
Guys, Christmas is just around the corner. We have the holiday bounty, $200,000 guaranteed tournament coming up. It's going to be December 14th through the 19th. It's a $300 buy-in, and the bounties on the first day ones are going to be $50. Day 2 and the final table are $200 bounties. You're going to have 40,000 in chips. Day ones are all 30-minute levels. Day 2 will be 40-minute levels. Come on out, join Rounders, be a member, come play this holiday bounty tournament right before Christmas. $200,000 guarantee. Ethan will be playing. I'll be playing. Come on out here. Let's get some bounties.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
No, I turned that
Yeah,
shit
and
off.
going back to that question, yeah. So I used to play with some of the Tempo Storm guys, a couple of the G2 guys. If you don't know what those are pretty big organizations in esports. And I would just play games with them, like the shooters, and so they kind of carried me to a high level. But it was fun. I mean, I used to be on streams when I was playing those back then. I used to be on streams with like 100K people watching.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I definitely didn't take advantage of it like I should have, but honestly, I'm so glad for the things that I've done. Like
There's a learning curve to everything, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's even like even now, there's so many things that I'm excited for, and so many things that are gonna happen in my life soon that I just couldn't dream of back then. This is a flop where everyone has a little bit of
I
nothing.
know, right? Everybody's improving too. Nine can catch a 7, but Ronda will make it needs a 9 for the straight.
Yeah, this is wow, and the 6-5. Wow, he's gonna lead. This is a blocker bet. This is a please don't raise me bet, but it's also a bet that can get raised a lot. But no, not gonna get raised.
And the pot's so small, it's not even worth trying to battle for. It's $135. Not that $135 isn't anything, but with these guys have $10,000 in front of them, they're not going to risk any more to win $135.
Hey, that's a whole buy-in to our sit and goes right there.
Well, it is a buy-in for the sit and go. So if guys, we do have sit and goes coming up. Also, don't forget. Chaz looks like he's the big winner right now at 7.6K with that big hand of 5-4 versus 10s turning a straight.
Yeah, it was a great way that it was really cool to see that you raised the turn. I think if he had just called, it would have looked more nutted, but the raise can be so many hands.
Let me know if you go. Dude, it's like it's a cruise, just like normal, except just tons of tournaments. Like it's like all tailored for poker. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Mephisto 6,000. I love that 7-8 of hearts.
Yeah, 7-8 of hearts is definitely one of my favorite hands.
Or rent a house for the series for all the San Antonio people. So they can go back and forth.
That'd be really cool.
You can rent those. That was like a price like a couple years ago.
You chant with the Queen Jack of
Oh
Hearts.
my god, yeah, he's gonna look it up. If oh, he's coming in for a little spiff on top.
Yeah, I'd like a bigger sizing with this hand specifically. This hand's not very good post-flop out of position, and I'm curious to see how Mephisto takes this, because as I was saying earlier, like I've really wanted to know how he's going to take hands like 8-7 and 6-7, because he's been taking more of a fold raise type lines. Looks like he's considering a re-raise, but does go with the call. I like this call because you just have so much equity against a lot of hands. Sadly, not this hand. This hand can be, if we see hearts, it's going to be brutal, but ooh. And this is where being out of position can be really brutal because Yu-Chan could just be betting into a lot of aces that Mephisto has just been playing with.
Absolutely.
Gotta have hot tub. Gotta have hot tub. Hot tub, pool. All the ones I looked at were like deck ones that had like everything.
150 in the 535.
One decked out, and then you want to find it as close as you can get with
He finds out very quickly where he's at.
Yep.
Where's that cruise?
Maybe. I don't know all the details, but it's just one of those cruises that they do. I guess they have a lot of it. But one of my friends, she works for. She used to work.
Do you play back at Yu-Chan by calling, and then when he checks the turn, you bet out the same, somewhere in that size range of maybe 250, 260?
It could be really kind of for the same reason of Yu-Chan being in a dangerous spot, having to bet into him. It's the same thing as doing like a float with a hand like that on that kind of board where you can just be drawing dead, or in this case, if you were to call in a heart on the turn, it would be really detrimental for him, where he would kind of just have to keep continuing. They would both continue betting. He would have to just like absolutely always put his opponent on queen high there, which is it's a tough ask. It's a tough ask to always hope that your opponent just has nothing.
Well, no, mainly online full time.
It's also the problem of being out of position is when you're out of position, you don't get as much value when you want it. If he did have an ace there, he would have to make the same line. Well, he wouldn't have to. You could check, but he'd probably make the same line and not get action. Or if he, gets called, then he's almost always not going to be able to be good. See some good hands, some bad hands. I'm not sure if Poker Athlete's actually in this hand with the 7-4. It doesn't look like it. But
Nor Mephisto's out too.
this is an interesting flop because Chad does have the 8 of hearts.
But like you said earlier, look, Yu-Chan's getting king queen off. He's had it 6 times already.
Yeah.
What he's trying to do is he's trying to make it a county by county decision, rather than blanket Texas.
Yeah, there's also the tilt dynamic for Yu-Chan where
Oh, so they're trying to do that here.
Yeah,
he might overbet now because he wants to, either get back or try to play some big pots. The only way you can really get back to, a whole buy-in of 10K is to play really big pots. And yeah, it could be kind of brutal.
And he wants to change the wording. That's currently what it is. It's a private place. You can have poker games in a private place, which this is a private place.
Ooh, and an ace on the turn.
Yeah,
He's gonna go check a lot of times.
Private residence.
Yeah.
And so making where you can have the house.
You get around that by just
it's not a residence.
I think we're gonna see a lot of ace of hearts floats on this flop. Flop is 6-5-9, so yeah, Yu-Chan does sniff it out, sees that his opponent most likely is gonna have an ace on this board when he's raised and then floating this flop.
But yeah, recently he just came out and said, "Look, I'm not trying to do that. So they're gonna rework the bill."
Yeah.
And the last time these guys clashed, it was a huge pot.
This is an interesting river because they're both blocking really key cards. The 8 of hearts being pretty key and the king of hearts being really key. But also the dynamic is weird.
Some of them were literally shooting into the building.
If Yu-Chan were to go like 1.3K here, he would do this with flushes. He would do this with straights.
So I'm sure he's getting pressure, So this is probably him reacting to that pressure.
I don't know, man.
But again, it goes back to that dynamic of, is my ace just too strong?
he's stepping back.
Uchan
saying
does
he's
sniff
not
out
ready,
that
so I don't
that
know.
Chaz is not very strong, but he
He's
might even just call if king
changing
high.
what he's trying to do. Like, yeah,
What is he doing?
they're gonna rework it. He announced he's not trying to make it illegal.
Oh, he's going for the raise.
Yeah, let's see if he goes for the sizing I thought he might.
County by county.
Is it 1.1?
What you were saying.
$1,075. Oh, it is 1.1. Okay.
Yeah, and this, like I was saying, looks pretty nutted, but also like I was saying, you just have an ace. Like you just have an ace, you kind of just have to call.
These guys, they never cease to amaze me.
These fuckers almost like it weather.
They are playing. I think Chaz makes the call.
He's got the best one-liners, bro.
Everybody else tells
Yeah,
me
and like I was saying, the problem is like 1.1 is where I would go with my value, but also you want to get called with your value, so you are going to get called more often because you want calls. So
There's the call.
yeah, it's kind of rough. It's I've been here too many times.
Playing poker, boys. Good call. Good
But
raise.
not, you know what I'm saying. San Antonio.
What about like
When I played, I've started to stop taking those spots a little more because
Oh,
I think you just get called more often than you want.
Yeah, well, that's what they're talking about. They're like not just the tech. But like,
I was even actually thinking that, I like 1.1 in theory, but I was even thinking he might go something more on the line of like 2K if he really wants the pot, but then it's like, well, if you go 2K, looks super bluffy. I think it was just destined to lose money there.
something jacks, right? Okay, yeah. That's what everyone had told me.
Probably targeting a 9.
They don't have
And
blinds.
and
They
they
just
have
have
the buy-in.
$5 for the
They're not
button,
as deep,
and that's the blind.
so it really limits, your
So
options.
the action starts
Right
in small
there,
blind. Kind of interesting.
John,
But nice sniff out by both players. They both sniffed that their opponent was weaker than
The $5 button thing.
they were letting on.
They didn't at the place I was playing.
Yeah, I like that sizing, like you said, at 1.1, but I just don't think it was enough to make Chaz fold top pair.
Yeah, and that's good. Later on, when Yu-Chen does have value, he can probably exploit the fact that he's not folding top pair there.
Northwest. Yeah.
Always depends if Chaz is
Yeah.
re
I know. When I think West, I think like
They have
El
the.
Paso.
Have you seen those?
readapting
You have
to what he's doing.
small and big blind. They
Then it
have a
becomes
$5.
a adaption.
Right. So when you're sitting there playing this, are you thinking I can sacrifice this for this hand to try and get him to fold? That's the max I'm willing to risk at 1.1. Or are you actually thinking that this is a bet that he should fold to?
It's more thinking, do I want to be balanced against someone who I play a lot with? So like that's actually a really big factor. Is
There's a lot of oil money out there.
for me, for example, when I go play when I play games where people know me, I have a aggressive image, so I no longer need to bluff because people just call me because they think I'm always bluffing. So once I've established that image, it's no longer needed. But in this case, Chaz and Yu-Chan are both always adapting, so it ends up being like balance. Yu-Chan wants to have value there, and Yu-Chan wants to have bluffs there. And he has a good candidate for bluff, but the thing is, Chaz is actually holding a really key card in the 8 of hearts, in that it cuts a lot of Yu-Chan's combos that Yu-Chan's continuing on that flop, and also just being too strong with an ace. And Chaz is also going to lose money there a lot of the time as well, making that call. You make that call too many times, you're going to probably lose more than win, but if you make it just the right amount, which he seems to do, then you're going to do really well.
At least in the top 3 players.
Ooh, and we see Kid going to wake up with I think he might shove this. It does fold, okay. Curious to see what he would do there. Ooh, and Chaz waking up with 10s.
And he would have got looked up by Chaz.
3 months ago.
Yeah, and with this just call, it makes me believe that Chaz might be watching and knowing that John is on the more bluff line, bluff heavy. I think this is a great flop to check back as John again.
oh yeah, no, I've heard about that.
I don't think you're getting called by many hands that are defending the big blind, but maybe he's targeting 4-5.
I think that place.
How far is that from here? That's not a San Antonio, right?
Oh,
Well,
he turns a big card with a club draw with 2 pair.
Yeah, and he kind of hates this card as well, though.
You ever tried drive back at?
He loves and hates it for sure.
You bag it like 1 or
Does
2
go
times,
for another small bet. I think this
and
might get more folds out of Chaz.
you made a hero call against me, Matt.
With king.
Ooh, and Chaz does call.
Hero cow. Sounds like a hero call.
Where's Skull Mike for the too much money remark?
Right?
It would have been the most amazing.
This is just gonna go check.
Behave, Matt.
Oh. I'd like to see a check back. You're not beating many aces anymore.
Well, if you want to go check out Holdem, I'll go with you.
Yeah, your 2 pair could easily be counterfeited, right?
It does check back. Well, the problem is all the aces that call you are going to be ace 5, ace 6, ace 4, ace 7, and then hopefully, I guess you can get value on ace 8, ace 9, and ace 10, but it's going to be hard.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it seems like John has Chaz's number tonight.
Yeah.
All the pots he's won has been through Big Daddy Chaz.
Yeah, and Chaz hasn't even given me his number yet. I haven't asked him for it, though, for his phone number.
Yeah.
And so everybody goes to the first one in the morning, and then the other one that opens in the evening has one.
You have to play on the table to get it.
Interesting.
You can play the big 10K.
Stacks, the one he was talking about, is the one that's open in the morning.
I just want you to
go
crush
there and
it.
get like a 1, 2, or 2, 5.
Don't hold back.
I'm
Just
gonna try and join a custom.
But then the big game is over.
don't think too much because there's a lot of pros.
Yeah, that's
just
a
get them.
lot of
Show them
work.
Texas poker.
So you didn't
You know
go.
what I'm saying?
You didn't go to West Texas Courthouse.
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did.
That's the nicer spot of the two.
Yeah, I did. I like that, but I didn't get to play there. 'cause they-
4 of
I
diamonds
went
is
there
the
and they were
first.
running a tournament, and all their cash players were playing tournament.
Well, it is a Christmas season. You can see our Christmas decorations on our set here tonight. I think Drew did that for us. Thank you.
Yeah. Shout out to Drew. Again, bet on Drew. Doing so much work with the stream.
Tomorrow night's his home game
Oh, yeah.
on ACR. $5.50 if you guys want to get on Twitch and follow and play on the ACRs.
Ooh, and Mephisto thinking about getting spicy with the Helmuth White Magic hand.
Was it suited or
It was offsuit, but
no matter? Queen 4 is always
Queen
it, just
4.
like Jack 4 is always going to be the other hand.
yeah.
I got you.
Close hat.
Yeah, and this is I think this is sniff out. This is a call out on Brandon over folding these spots. And I wonder if Brandon definitely has too good of a hand to fold, but
Yeah, that's what the hat is.
I was wondering if he's
Poker athlete has his
Oh, yeah,
hat turned
poker
around.
athlete.
Yeah.
we got Brandon on Brandon action. That's right.
Yes.
Both are named Brandon, and both don't have their name on the.
What a flop.
Ooh. What an interesting flop.
Poker athlete does not want to make 2 pair, right?
No, the thing is, Mephisto's going to continue on this a lot. So if he's continuing on this flop, I don't think Poker Athlete is going to be raising here almost ever.
200 and then almost 900.
Yeah, and this is actually a good bet. This is a blocker bet for sure. You're going to want to do this with a lot of hands. I mean, you're going to want to do this with aces. You're going to want to do this with kings, ace king, ace jack. You're going to want to do this with queen 10. You want to keep in a lot of hands with those kind of hands. And then go big on a lot of turns.
What if it's the 10 of diamonds? How big would that card be?
10 of diamonds would be a brutal. That is also kind of a brutal card for Mephisto here. That is a card that is going to favor his range a lot more. But we'll see how he does this. Does go with the check.
Not the Mama says, I like the graphics. They readable and stand out. Yeah, they're sharp. They did a great job changing the graphics.
Yeah, the eye cover is funny by Mephisto. I definitely like it.
He left his glasses, he said. No, I'm just kidding.
He's doing he's doing the hoodie without having a hoodie.
The 10 on the river is going to be the worst card for him.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna fold though. Yeah. This is a bet that he just Hollywood folds or shoves. I mean, you could shove as a bluff, but I don't think the SPR is good enough. The stack to pot ratio.
Oh yeah, there's no way it can continue.
Yeah. Well, for a bluff, a lot of the math behind stack to pot ratio is based on like fold equity, which just means like if I can get my opponent to fold a certain amount of the time, then I should make a play based on the sizing of the bet. So like if I'm giving my opponent, you know, really terrible odds like -3 to 1, they're not going to call as often as if they get +3 to 1.
Hey, I want to go with you, but we have to do like part three first. You know what I'm talking about? That's quick. And I'm not good enough to hit the big ones. So you like 9 holes takes forever because I always miss it out. I hit its brain like with the stir. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were kind of
Is that a
Scramble, I think.
Yes.
I don't know what we shot.
Do you know?
Yeah.
late scramble
Yeah, you were.
tournament or
Hundreds ago.
I got you.
No.
anybody?
Well, since it happened, I mean, the dog.
And Poker Athlete has been super aggro.
Yeah, there was like
I played with him a lot. He's definitely aggro in the games that we've played, but
I think that,
you
I
know,
don't know much about golf, but it's whatever.
aggro can be worse when you're playing against players who just don't care about the money.
And there's a big raise from Tony,
Par
the
76
kid with
they came back
pocket aces.
I had something like that recently.
Yeah,
They just
they reported a 46.
Yeah, and
and
he's
everybody
gonna
else
get a
was
lot of
standing around
folds.
looking
Oh
at
well,
the
he's
clock,
against
you're in a
nothing,
row.
but
You're right. No one had anything to continue with.
So that's what-
yeah, it's also the problem with being short stack is that
and they're all just like,
you just
yeah,
get
46.
again because of the stack to pot ratio, you're just not getting as many calls because people are just you're not getting enough to justify calling and trying to see a flop because your opponent's pretty much always going to be all in.
Right. If you guys noticed, Poker Athlete has come way back from almost being stacked from JJ to
Yeah.
almost being even and soon to be a winner here.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Good stuff to him.
rainbow board bottom.
That's good, dude.
That's pretty impressive because, you kind of feel like sometimes, no matter how good you play, man, the cards just are against you or you're just making bad reads or bad plays or getting unlucky. But it's great to see he's got back a lot of that stack he lost to JJ.
Especially with pre-flop shots.
Ooh.
The lighter you call someone, the
And
more
that's the problem with the short stack again. You can't play the Jack 10 there in position, which is even debatable whether you want to play it if you're deep or not. Anyway, but wow, John's gonna get in the mix with the Queen Deuce suited.
A huge raise.
What a spot! Look, see how much Chaz doesn't care about money.
Well, he knows that John's gotten the best of him so far, so he's willing to. I think he's going to call here.
He looks like he might have other plans.
He's
Does
just going to
call.
call. Yep. He says, John, you can't beat me every time. I'm Chaz. I'm Big Daddy Chaz. That's a GQ picture right there. So, yeah, he's turned. He's got a great profile. He's got a great
the
cut.
haircut.
Oh,
yeah.
it's looking fresh.
Ooh, Jack High board is going to be rough for John when he makes this re-raise. He's going to have to continue a lot of the time. This is the problem with having 100% C-bet range. You really want to have delayed C-bet so you can see free turns.
Here comes a raise, right? He can't put him on a 5.
Nah, it's just a call. It's not a matter of putting on a 5, but more on a, John's going to do this with over pairs. He's going to do this with bluffs. You really don't want him to fold his bluffs, and your kicker's not good either. What's up, Mike Ray? I haven't seen you in a bit, man. Hope you're doing well.
Mikey, what's happening, buddy?
I don't know if you're still playing out here, but ooh, and he's going to continue. Wow, this is brutal. He's going to lose all his profit here. And it's rough being against someone like Chaz because you might be able to make a lot of people fold, but Chaz, he just wants to stack you and move on.
He wants to get back all his chips plus some.
Yeah, Chaz is not the person you want to be doing this against once he's called the flop. But a queen would be brutal. Yeah.
Hold your breath, everybody.
And if it's a non-heart river, yeah, that's a pretty sucky river because now with the queen of diamonds blocker, he might want to rep king queen. and it would make sense. And it's a good river for Chaz because he's gonna feel like his Jack 10 is good a little more. Oh, and he just shoves into him. Take away the option to bluff. I'm not sure I like shoving into him, but I think shoving into him kind of accomplishes what check does. Specifically because the board's paired, so you're only really getting called by kings, queens, and nutted hands.
Yeah, I wish John would have, of course, he bet the flop, which I like, and then checked the turn. And then if the heart comes on the river, he could have repped the flush versus just, pitching it on the turn and dropping 1100.
I'm fine with the bet only because so John's gonna with the re-raise pre-flop, John's gonna have a lot more. It's hard. So like, there's not many flush combos in your range when you're raising pre-flop that big. There's a lot more pair combos that you're gonna have, so you're gonna have a lot more like kings, queens, sometimes tens, sometimes aces, and less so on the side of flush draws, unless you have like ace king suited. So it gets rough when he has the queen of diamonds. He actually is in a weird spot where on the river, if he was checked to, I think he shoves because he wants to rep. He definitely wants to rep king queen, which is another one of the hands that you could have with flushes, but it's hard. Yeah, you never see too many flushes in 3 or 4 bet pots just because it's just hard to get. And in position here, Brandon might call against Yu-Chan.
Or poker athlete.
Oh, yeah, sorry, poker athlete.
Good
I
fold.
like the fold, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
King Jack's not. I think Brandon now with an established raise image should fold a little more. I mean, poker athlete. I think that once you've kind of established that image of I'm raising somewhat light, you want to have more hands that you can defend, and King Jack is actually one of the hands that you don't really want to be defending. You'd rather have something like 7-6 or 8-7 there, whereas with something like King Jack, you're just going to be dominated so many times by re-raises.
Do you see him continuing if he has King Jack suited versus King Jack off?
More often, but the problem is, again, it goes back to that, like, you don't really want hands that are dominated. You want hands that don't connect with your opponent's 3-bet range. And your opponent, a 3-bet range just means like the amount of hands that he's gonna. So like someone when they're re-raising generally is gonna have pretty strong hands unless they know what image they should be.
Right, like
conjuring.
the 5-4 of Chaz versus the 10s of Yu-Chan.
And 5-4 is a great defending hand in a spot like that. You'd much rather have the 5-4 than something like, let's just say you had 10 Jack,
Right, Queen 10 or.
Yeah.
I got you.
So those spots are actually a really crucial part of like knowing like I think a lot of people might look at hands and be like, yeah, why did he call with 3-2 suited pre-flop so big? But heads up, 3-2 suited versus a hand like ace king, it's practically a 50-50.
Right.
And then you add in implied odds of how much you think you can make off your opponent.
Our buddy Mike Ray, who's a outstanding golf coach, is ripping on Kid for his VPIP. But Mike, just so you know, Kid just entered the game about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So his VPIP is going to definitely be lower. He's only played pocket kings and now pocket jacks.
Ooh, I don't like this raise by John when we see Kid limp. But then again, he doesn't know that Kid has just been. He could think that Kid's card dead, but Kid has definitely been on the folding line. Oh, and Kid's just going to call with the jacks here. In position, I don't hate this, but being short stack, I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, because this flop's going to come up a lot, and now you kind of hate your life when you're jacks.
Poker athlete loves the flush draw with a pair. John George has second pair, and Kid has the best pair, even though he don't have an ace. But does he continue with 2 players?
No, he doesn't. I think from what we've seen, he has to kind of take his, okay, I blundered pre-flop, now I've got to fold. And he can never shove here. Yeah. snap folds. And that's kind of the problem with, again, just calling and calling pre-flop is, when you're short stack, your goal is to get in there and steal the 75 that John put out there. Because then that's 2 calls, 150. You're increasing your stack by like 15% when you shove and get folds. Or you get a call and you're in this amazing spot.
Evers.
I like John's call.
Yeah, and now he's
Yeah,
going
it
to turn
turns
a
a
lot of
set.
equity.
Kid would have turned a set of jacks.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it lends itself to limp calling. I definitely like the limp if I was going to limp re-raise. But honestly, like, I get it. You also don't want to, you might not be accustomed to the stake, so that can be a big factor. But yeah, he's kicking himself right now.
Well, I mean, it's multi-way, so someone easily could have an ace, even though we see that they don't. But poker athlete could have easily had an ace.
Yeah.
And so, kid wants to get out of the way because if his head's up, I could see him calling one street, but 3 ways.
Yeah, he should even fold if it was heads up, actually. It was
What a
more
move.
about pre-flop.
You see this?
Yeah, and this is this lends itself to poker athlete's image of constantly betting, which is why you want to check and not constantly bet all the time.
He gets there.
Yeah. And I think he usually just goes once.
And John George had the best hand with a pair of 8s. And Kid would have got stacked as well if he plays and sees that turn.
Yeah.
Based on his turn bet.
And
I don't
again,
believe poker athlete's going to fold to too much.
this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where sometimes you get unlucky just because someone played the game a way that was different. Like if Kid had re-raised that spot, both a poker athlete and John would have folded. But because Kid just called, John had to be in that spot, and that's unfortunate. Like, it's never a spot you really want to be in.
Yeah, John's going to sell poker athlete one of the orange plaques here, the $1,000 plaques. They are beautiful. We do have $5,000 plaques as well. And John George is back in the game for $3,000. And now we see a couple orange plaques from John George and poker athlete.
Yeah, Mephisto tried making a couple he tried to make one or two bluffs, and they didn't work out. So he bled a little, but I think he's still in the profit. And yep, Mephisto's up 305. Yuchan down 8K. Chaz up 10K. We got a couple mixes in there. John sadly down 3K, and he was up a lot. So for him, he tried to make 2 bluffs. Well, 1 bluff, and then 1 he was actually ahead. Got a little unlucky. But I think also we saw poker athlete was in the profit, right?
Oh, he's to the good now.
Yeah,
He came back. He didn't get felted, but he lost a lot of his chips to JJ earlier, and he's back to the positive.
Ooh, and he picks up Queen Jack right away, which is gonna be a hand that you're gonna call in the tilt when you're tilted.
You're so wild.
You needed both hands plus his left pot.
Everybody's playing their clubs tonight. They think they're lucky. Rhonda, Yuchan, John George, and then Lance is going to fold.
Yeah. And
Or did he keep his hand? I can't see.
Lance called it the Queen 10, and that's they all have each other's outs. Rhonda's gonna flop the best of it, and does go for half pot bet.
Because I was ready to feel really feel like from what I've seen.
Nice takedown by Rhonda. Rhonda's making me want to get a massage.
Taking off, Brennan?
Hell no.
Catch me out.
I am down.
Looks like Poker is going to do a little color up.
Can't stop thinking about Hawaiian bros. I'm talking about all the The intention of stopping there.
Well,
You're 50 kids.
they have one in Austin and Roanoke, but they also have that one in Kyle.
Yeah, that's what I would have stopped.
What is
That-
it?
Hawaiian Bros.
We do got some straddles going out there. Looks like kids got 25 out there.
I guess it's like a chain restaurant.
Oh, he
but
called the
it's,
25. So we got
Hawaiian
5, 10,
style
25, and a call.
And it's just like they have like obviously a bunch of different styles of chicken, and it's all just so good. I loved it.
Thank you, sweetheart.
What's the blood count? We've got a couple blood counts. And athlete, wow, Brandon's going to wake up with
Yeah,
aces.
Wild.
Yeah, we know we've had some great pots. Just happened right now. We had John versus Poker Athlete.
It's just odd that poker athlete is racking and raising. But he's just doing a color up. He's not leaving. He's just coloring up some chips.
Oh damn!
Yeah, Chaz is up 10.2K as usual.
I never got a honey bun. Really? Oh, I love honey buns.
Okay, Brandon's liking this because JJ did get him earlier. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you just, two guys just run into it, you know.
Oh yeah, and Brandon being out of position is unfortunate for Brandon, but pretty safe flop. I like checks on boards like this with hands like aces. I don't think you're not protecting yourself from anything, but you want hands to get some equity. You want hands to.
I think I want to check here. So maybe he has king, queen or something and leads out on you.
Yeah,
Krispy Kreme is amazing.
It is amazing. And I'm literally.
yeah, we've seen a very high frequency of C betting.
I feel the exact same. I eat Krispy Kreme maybe once a year.
Whoa,
Good.
and JJ is gonna float here.
Fridge, like, they're gone.
Oh no, when it's fresh. Yeah.
This is an interesting float. I don't. This looks like a float that he wants to. Oh well.
Now we have to see a check here by poker athlete. There's no
Their coffee is actually
there's no value in him betting.
Donuts are like pretty medium.
Well, this is the float makes me think that JJ wants to represent eights. So if JJ's floating here,
I love pastry guy.
I'd like to see a check, but I mean if JJ's floating here, he can have a lot of eights.
That's not a Krispy Kreme. It's not even good enough.
Me, I'm considering myself like a trapping player.
Yeah.
So I would have checked here to say I don't have an ace. I have the king and let JJ represent the ace.
Yeah, I think the situation would have landed itself.
And
to
there's
an
no way to make any money on that hand. You can't put him on an 8.
I mean, I'm a lazy guy.
Yeah, but also it's like Brandon's image has been bet. He just made that play with 7-5 suited. I agree. I would have liked to check, but I think that
It's just
a bet actually works to his image. If you are targeting an 8, you know, there's a thing is like you want to target coolers instead of just like targeting a king. Like you want your opponent to have a hand that you can cooler rather than a hand that you can get a little bit of value from. So
Yeah, I don't think there's any value betting there with you have aces full. So because it was a raise and a re-raise and a call, so I would have put him on king queen, king jack maybe ace jack, something like that. Where if you turn the nuts on the turn, if you turn the nuts, you have to check there. You have to give them an opportunity to bet into you to represent what you have.
plastic and yeah.
I'm just trying
ooh, and he's gonna wake up with another decent hand. He did show the aces, so
If you raise
it is good on his image.
His run good is running.
heard that too late. Yeah. Fucked up.
hold up.
Oh, I didn't realize how many straddles he has to get through. Yeah, this is I think he's slightly going a little too hard on the raising.
And Chaz has a big hand.
Yeah, he goes super big here. Wow, 1.1K. And this is the problem with Brandon playing too many hands is poker athlete is he's gonna get kind of exploited by someone like Chaz who's gonna raise big and not let you see equity.
Mid-range is good.
But the same way, poker athlete might get sticky here because he thinks his opponent's doing something, but you have Jack 9 suited.
He looks like he's calling.
Wow, and this is a bit of a confidence call.
And he has position, right?
Yeah, but the SBR is going to be so weird. That position does matter because they're deep, but it ends up being a little less important. See, this is interesting because now it's like Chaz is just going to continue with a big raise here. I mean, a big bet. So it's like, what do you do as, Brandon? You just lost. I mean, as poker athlete, you just lost 1.1K for like no reason.
I got you. Yeah, I didn't like the call. I think he could have folded the 250 and just went on to the next hand. But instead, he loses 1,500. We're close to it,
It's close. I think if I was a little deeper, I'm okay with a call. But
Well, he's booking a win right now. He's played great. He's got the hands he wanted. The last two hands, I would like to see him check the turn when he caught the aces full, and there I'd like to see him fold. But I'm not playing on that table. I definitely can't play with those guys or against them. So it's a learning experience for me back here.
yeah, it's a big there's a lot in image, and Brandon, I mean, poker athlete has definitely like created an image so far. Like that spot that he just had. Let's just say he has ace king or even aces in that spot. Now he's getting the full payout a lot of the time, and that's partly why he continued betting with the aces full. Although I do think like you need to be conscious of your image and then just decide to sometimes like John for example when he had the queen deuce against Chaz
Right?
is if he does have a value hand there he's getting paid off. So
You don't have to. You're not working, man. I'll go do it now. 26 guys.
But I mean, it's okay that you got to recognize every now and then you have to shut it down. And at what point do you shut it down, right? You shut it down when he get called on the flop and he checks into you. You can check back with queen deuce instead of trying to represent something you don't have. But I know it's a game of decisions.
well it's also a game of variance where one, your opponent shouldn't really have Jack 10, but also like you're gonna have way better hands, so like they should generally they don't need to continue as much as like in that spot.
Earlier with that pop.
Did you have 11? What do you mean 1100? I keep me a diamond.
It's hard. I mean, one of the biggest things that's important in poker is just not to be results oriented because results literally don't matter in this game.
Okay, totally side note that just popped in my head because Rhonda had pocket queens. I was thinking queens for the queen, but we actually had the Queen of Felt play here and commentate one night. Do you know her at all? She plays out of Florida.
I have seen her name before.
Yeah, Queen of Felt. She was here. Very nice lady and great player. And for some reason, I saw the queens with the queen and just brought it up. So shout out to the Queen of Felt. Hope you're doing great.
I like the sizing by JJ. He has been kind of card dead, so he's going to take a hand like ace-10 a little more often than he wants to. I know he knows that ace-10 is not a great hand, but when you haven't been getting cards, it kind of gets a little annoying. Does get folds.
I'm literally dead even. What are you down? 9? You're not stuck. I was stuck 4 or 5. I was stuck almost.
Don't forget, guys, here at Rounders Card Club, if the weather gets bad, we do have 2 full swing golf simulators. You guys can come out here and keep playing, work on your game. It does give you all the analyzation of the swing speed, the distances, everything you want to know about your swing or your club face open. It's a great helping tool along with playing 96 courses of your choosing. Along with that, we have chess going on with Mr. Leonard. We have all the poker tables, 22 tables, actually probably closer to 30 tables right now for our tournaments and our cash games. So come on out, be a member of Rounders Card Club. We definitely would love to have you.
You know Rondo's kidding. You know what you're talking about?
They don't know y'all's relationship.
Apparently we're
She was kidding.
was totally joking.
JJ, you're gonna take down another one most likely. Oh, and we're going to a flop. It looks like. Oh, you can't call with the king 7. Yeah, this flop doesn't really hit JJ very often. It's gonna hit Uchan a lot more. I'd like to see a check back. Very nice check back from. I've seen a lot of C bets, but I really like this this check back. I think you get a lot more mileage off of this. And this is a good turn to C bet.
Now hold up. Wait, let me get
That's all in there.
Yes. Brother, you're not supposed to.
It's weird because you're gonna have a lot of ace highs, so ace highs do want to check and see a showdown because ace high is just gonna generally be good. Oh, and that's actually a pretty good card. Although I think Uchan is capable of calling with king high in this spot. But there's also a good card in that JJ is beating a lot of hands, like a lot of hands with queen high. He's also just getting looked up by a lot of 5s and 6s, so he has to go big. Goes 200, which I think is the sizing he'd probably go with an ace. But he might just get called. I mean, I would call with king high pretty often here, actually. In this exact scenario.
Didn't happen. Nobody saw it.
Does make the lay down.
Yeah, he's never representing the flush because he's been betting it the whole way. With the board paired, he's not representing the jack, so he's just representing the ace right there.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems is that with the king 7, you might actually be getting bluffed by a hand like king queen, which I think is going to bluff less on that river, but you might be getting bluffed by something like king 10, king 9, which you're still losing to. So when you call, you kind of put yourself in a spot where you're still losing to a lot of king highs. The thing is, like, it's rough when your opponent just checks, bets.
Well, that's a good understanding from JJ too, is knowing he cannot win with showdown value.
Yeah.
He has to bet there. There's no, whether he loses, whether Uchan makes the call or not, he has to bet there.
You might have got one better.
Yeah, and JJ also going to the win event, I believe.
Now, let me ask you something.
Which event will he win?
Oh no, yeah, I got it like instantly.
I got it on him this time, guys. He tries to throw it on us, but I threw it back. He didn't catch it.
No, I mean that was a good one. I'll give you an encore for that win. Yeah, you know the encore in the.
There's an athlete with the ace king. Looks like he's gonna get it through. I like the straddles. It really changes the dynamics because these pots gotten huge without even seeing a flop. Not that the 150 was huge, but prior to these hands, typically when they do the 25, 50, 100, we're getting a lot of $500, $600 pots without a flop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the straddles are. I mean, it pretty much this game is pretty much it's pretty much a 25-50, if not more. This might be equivalent to like a 50-100. The only difference is like there's smaller stacks, but.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And Uchan just has that quiet confidence where he knows he's going to have a big hand. He don't know when it's going to happen, but he knows it's going to happen for him to get back the chips he lost with Chaz. Now, not to be through Big Daddy Chaz, it can be someone else at the table, but he knows it's coming.
I'm going to call.
8 calls. 9. You know, my niece and nephew were raised vegan. And,
I remember you telling me that.
and now his
Good fold by John with the King Jack and the small blind.
Yeah, I think he's taking a different line right now since
Yeah.
he lost that big win he had earlier, plus being felted.
Yeah.
Oh, that was quick.
All right. Use the restroom.
What, we hear you want more, Brian? Oh, John's like, no, they
She
gave me
was
a
kidding.
mountain. I know.
Everyone takes pictures of you.
They want to please me.
Chaz is going to take down that pot with pocket sixes.
Yeah.
Rhonda decides not to defend with the queen nine of spades. But guys, thanks a lot for joining the chat tonight. Ghost of M, thank you, buddy. Appreciate all your help. Mike, bloodbath. You know the blood count. You missed it, but John George got into a big hand with poker athlete. Got stacked for 3K. A flush draw versus a second pair, and it just ran out. The river is just a card for a poker athlete. Making a flush. They only ran it one time. We can run it twice here. You guys haven't seen too many double run outs. They're running it twice. But Mephisto 6000 is going to come in for a raise. Lance had straddled to 50.
My
It looked
condition
like.
was so good. That was like the best condition I've had here. It was that good.
John George is being active again with his king 8 of spades.
Can I get a topo?
I'd like to see a poker athlete play the 5-7 of hearts, but Lance has the 3-4 of hearts, so they have each other's outs, really. But then we got spades versus spades, and Lance flops 3 of a kind.
No, Cody Bellinger.
And Mephisto 6000 is going to continue with the $150 bet. Same bet he made pre-flop. Oh, wow, John George is a non-believer. Let's see what Lance does here. He limped in and just makes the call. Worry about a flush draw. Wants to fade a flush on the turn. And of course, he just turns a full house. So he's going to check it. Hopefully one of them has the flush, but that actually hits Mephisto 6000 with a pair of 4s and 3s. So he has a little showdown value.
Really? Oh, my I don't want to be gone.
I know John hasn't played many hands with Lance, so he's not sure where Lance is at, that's for sure.
It was like last week.
But John does hit the king. Lance should lead out here for about 400. Yeah, 475.
Autopay got turned off on my phone. I had like 4 months late. It was 4 months late on my.
And unfortunately, John hits the king, but he does fold.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I tried. Yeah.
Very nice.
I tried to
Lance shows him the full house. 3's full of 4s. Nice little win for Lance. 1.4K in that pot. John had the king, but he definitely can't call Lance.
Yes.
Hasn't played too many hands against Lance. Lance has been around this card room for a long time.
Worry about it.
If you don't like it,
You know, like 10 months before that, 3 months after.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Ghost of M says a 4 on the river would have been something. Yeah, that'd been a dirty card, right?
Oh,
They
okay.
just chop it.
I don't know. I play with
Okay, my family's always so
John,
happy.
25.
Oh no, he made 3 of a kind versus. Yeah, they both chop it.
I don't think they're-
I wouldn't have known yours if I didn't see it on
I don't think they're real properly.
I'm sorry. No, you're fine, you're fine.
Wow.
I know.
Got her hats not working.
Okay, guys, if you want to come out to Rounders Card Club tomorrow, Wednesday, we are doing a black chip, $20,000 guarantee. The buy-in's $240, rebuys are $200. Come on out, get ready for the $200,000 guaranteed bounty tournament. We do have a Friday $10,000 guarantee mystery bounty on Friday. This Friday coming up. A lot of Christmas money going to be out here, guys. Come on out to Rounders, win some Christmas money.
That makes a lot of sense.
You'd love having that extra cash this time of year.
It's wild. People from New Mexico are very wild.
I tried to turn off Ethan's mic, but he decided to turn it back on.
Yeah, we got a full-on everyone in here kind of flop. Wow. This is an interesting flop.
Anytime I'm in hand with you and I bet I'm going to just put
No one has anything.
Well, we got top pair, good kicker for JJ and Uchan. We've got a gut shot for Rhonda, bottom pair for Kid, and flush draw for John.
Like, yeah, Lance missed it all. That's what I said.
Yeah, I mean, this is a
How does everybody get a piece of this board?
sick flop.
Where's the red 9 on the turn?
Yeah, you can see that.
Never do that at the
You
lodge,
can see
by the
that
way.
people are just pot controlling. You know, no one really likes their position with their hand on this board. When everyone's calling, it's like, well,
But they'll
you
make
know,
a
what
really
does
big pot.
what does everyone have? You know,
Yeah, it's way too technical.
and John
Yeah, I agree.
is gonna want to see the spade because not just because of the nut spade, but because a lot of hands are gonna be spade draws on this board.
I mean, look, you're playing limit.
You are gonna be against a lot of like queen jack of spades type of hands.
Didn't we have a
Wow.
He does make a pair on the turn, decides to check, even though he was leading.
about, how much you could
on the
travel
flop.
had to be double? Yes. And they ruled it didn't have to be double here. But they made a ruling here. that it
And
didn't
this
have
is
to be
a
double.
very awkward spot for JJ. He kind of just has to fold with like a million people behind, but it's also like your hand's so strong.
Like,
This
you remember
turn's
that? You
so
remember that?
bricky.
Was it over there?
He's gonna call.
Table or over?
Before it.
Yeah, it was Jorge.
I don't
But it was
fault
at that
call.
table up there, right?
I thought it was in here. Because like we shadow for it.
It's an interesting spot for John too.
Yeah. something like
John's
that.
calling 100%. He catch a 3, an ace, or any spade.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should definitely call, but I was wondering if he could ever raise.
That
Wow,
made a prop bet.
does get there on the river.
He makes flushes.
He does make
That was in
flushes.
my head, so it wasn't
He's like
odd.
Faraz the toilet.
Faraz is a flush maker.
Oh, yeah, his name used to be the toilet because
Oh.
he used to just chase flushes.
Actually, yeah.
So
He's like, and I was like, double.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
yeah, it's like the worst nickname to get, the toilet.
It has to be double.
Whoa, JJ
I
is
have now
taking
prop bet
a
this
line
fight,
here,
I've lost both times on both
and
Lefty.
John is
Thank
just
you,
licking this
sweetheart.
up.
Have a good night, honey. Be safe.
This is interesting. I mean, I guess you kind of have to shove as John, but you almost want to call.
Can you just call and have Uchan possibly call with a 10? I don't know. Nice win.
I don't think Yuchen calls with a 10, but I was also thinking like maybe.
He does
But the thing is, not. You just kind of have to shove. You're just hoping that your opponent's gonna have what you think he has.
I've never seen him.
Yeah, you definitely don't just want to call it there. I was wondering if he could, but that was a little commentator bias where I can see that his opponent's gonna fold.
Well, John needed that win. He definitely changed his game up after being felted from. I mean, he folded King Jack.
Yeah,
I mean, typically he's raising with that hand.
yeah, that's a position too. Small blind was glad he's folding there because he has been calling a little too much from out of position.
Are you from here, Lance? LA. Interesting. How long you been here?
3 years.
You live in here 3 years? No shit.
A little over like 3 years.
Did you play with the young man a lot in LA?
It's hard because
Young man,
Yeah, you can see the effects of having a short stack is like Kid has just kind of been blinding out, and it's rough. I mean, there's nothing you can really do if you're short stack because you're like, you feel people are taking advantage of you, and they are, but also it's like,
Well, with his kings, I felt like he overbet with the kings, in early position with, no money out there. And then his jacks, he made a great fold.
Yeah.
But he did slow play it where if he'd have fast played it, he probably would have taken on the pot like he did with the kings. So,
yeah, and it's not even a product of him; it's a product of the like stack sizes a lot of the time. And Yuchan's gonna smartly check back here because he knows if he bets, he's gonna get his opponent to fold a lot of hands that he doesn't want to fold.
We're going straight to the top of the game. Like, no one's stopping.
yeah, and Kid's got a lot of experience. He typically doesn't get trapped in hands.
It's like most depressing day of my entire life. 17 years old. I don't know. Like a 17-year-old didn't cash out $1. We ran it up to me.
And he was just dominated there with King Jack versus Ace Jack.
Yeah, would have been brutal if it was a jack high board.
was a $10 or $20 buy-in, you said?
I think he check calls most of the way.
$20 180.
I don't think he ever leads into
Going back like
U-Chan there.
looked at the hand history, you can request hand history.
Look at that, Big Daddy Chaz up 11.5. Lance is up almost 1,000. Everybody else is like in trouble.
There were so many hands where it's like I flopped like
I thought Poker Athlete was winner. What happened there?
all the draws get there on the turn. And I make
Oh, he did give some back to when he called off the $1,500 to Chaz.
Yeah, and that's a spot where you can bleed a lot is if you're overcalling. Kind of what has happened is that he's like
there was some hand I can't
he's done a lot of raise folding, which you just bleed so much when you raise fold. Like when you bet 100 and then fold, you do that 10 times, suddenly you're down 1,000, and you do that 10 times, but then you also do like the one where you call for like 1.1k. It adds up really fast. Ooh, we got aces for U-Chan, but JJ is gonna have Queen 10 here. A Queen 10 suited is gonna be a lot of 3-bets here. He does go for a 3-bet, and this brutal spot for JJ. When you're card dead, but you're also seeing the spot where a good player is opening from the cutoff, you're gonna be 3-betting a lot of your hands.
Big Daddy on the ballot.
And if U-Chan, his sizing is gonna be like 650 to 700. It's hard to say whether or not you're supposed to fold with Queen 10 suited, but in position you probably have to call. So I'd like to see U-Chan go for one of those sizings, like 650, 700,
The only person that can win.
as his opponent is going to be priced in to call a lot of the time.
I agree. Michelle Obama will win any election.
Yeah, it goes for 675.
I might be wrong. You can quote me on it later, but I don't think winning is to be even close to the problem. I think whoever they run.
And good recognition of the spot. Obviously, you know you're ahead. You also want your opponent to have to be pot committed.
There's so much divide on the red side now.
So a queen high board would be very bad for JJ.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to.
JJ's definitely not looking for.
What about queen high board with 2 hearts?
Yeah, JJ's mostly looking for straights and flushes here. He doesn't care as much about queen high boards.
Sanders voters for Hillary.
Yeah, and this board is
All the Sanders
interesting
were, like, so
because
pro Bernie Sanders, they
U-Chan's
wouldn't
blocking all value, and he also has the ace of diamonds. So I think he is gonna want to be
Checking
doing
here.
a mix here. I mean, I don't know about check, but I know maybe like 225 or check. But honestly, when your opponent's re-raise calling you, you kind of just want to target pocket kings and just hope that your opponent is in a cooler spot. And if they're not, then you just take your your win.
Can he catch a jack on the turn for the gutter ball? I don't think he can call here. I think it's just going to be a fold.
It's definitely harder to say because it is U-Chan, and he is getting a pretty decent price to call. I think if he had a backdoor heart, he'd probably call, but with the spade, it's really close. He does call,
Wow.
and I don't blame him. And this is, again, it's a product of U-Chan. It's a product of play. It's a product of them knowing each other a little bit. And
Did you hear that she won last night?
everything changes based on how your read is. I think that's something that people forget. A lot of the times I'll make plays that look super crazy against one player, and other people at the table think that I'm going to do that against them too. But the thing is that you change based on player to player.
See, I like that. That was my play. I was thinking a good check here would induce a bet.
I actually think JJ is going to check though. See his free card. There's just too many draws for JJ to have in terms of him having a lot of. Ooh.
See,
I would have liked the check by JJ.
See, now you can shut it down with a check raise here.
Well, this is awkward actually because you don't really want to check raise.
Yeah.
This is
Well, because we see his cards, but if he has any kind of flush draw, you don't want to check raise here and try and kill it.
not when you have the ace of diamonds.
The fun thing to do would be like
With if you didn't have the ace of diamonds, you could maybe, but no, JJ is going to be bluffing here pretty often when you have aces.
I think I just want to take it down right now. I'm happy with the pot size. happy with winning that amount, and he does rip it.
That'd be fun.
I think this is more of a
Yeah,
targeting
see,
pocket kings than
I like that.
anything.
I like taking it down. I don't want to see any flush card, straight card get there. I think the check raise is perfect there on that type of board.
I even showed it. I showed her my card.
What if he has a set of threes? You're gonna get paid off,
That would be it. I'll push for that. That would be a
and you
lot
put
of
him to a
fun.
max
That'd be a
test if
lot
he
of
has a
fun.
flush draw.
Brandy.
He could have had ace five of diamonds.
No, he couldn't have ace five. of
No, I mean
diamonds,
he
but
could.
Yeah,
He could have, or some
Yeah,
spade draw.
well,
But if
that's-
if Uchan didn't have the diamond, he had the other aces. He's
Yeah.
probably calling there every time.
This was an extreme.
yeah, it's important to know that just the ace of diamonds can be important. But yeah, I mean, he still takes it down and gets a big
I don't think
pot
I've
there.
Yeah, I showed her. This was
I
after like
have the
5
nut.
minutes.
Look. She's like, all right, I
First-
call.
First, I put it in there and I said, Brandy, don't.
It was on the river, right?
Yes.
That's
Oh, no. Oh, you mean that it was last. Yeah, Brody was done.
Ooh, and
Whoever's
Brandon's
out there.
gonna
Yeah, I
wake
showed
up
her
with
the-
queens here. So good with his image right now.
already out. The hand was up.
Wow.
Her hand could not improve. But I think for some reason she just couldn't in her mind just let it go.
JJ's thinking, man, every time I raise, someone's re-raising
I
me.
got going.
Yeah, it's really
Someone's
unfortunate.
three betting me. Someone's
Lost, but I called.
Yeah. I must have called.
I thought you were.
Yeah, he's
No, I was telling him the story and why.
good fold.
Oh.
I think. Are you talking
Good
about
recognition that maybe he's getting a little out of line there
one who's sitting right here?
with the 8-7 off.
And you were right over
yeah,
there.
I consider
No,
that
I was
outline.
right there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you kind
in
of
early position,
Oh. Okay.
late position is
Remember
one
that?
thing,
I think
right?
it's the first one we ever did.
No,
I was
no,
like,
I thought you were talking about something.
you kind of have to have some of those just so you can have an image. But yeah,
Well, it depends on when last time.
I don't think that makes you balanced,
When it was-
having the
those eight
8-7 off.
Well, I don't know who you're talking about. But I don't want.
I guess he was mid to late range there, anyways. Yeah, like I said earlier, kids getting blinded out, really not having any hands, and being a short stack of $1,000 buy-in, because the buy-in was 1,000 to 30,000. Rhonda comes in for $20,000. That's huge.
like weapons.
No, they take the little.
ooh, and Mephisto's gonna wake up with a good hand here.
Like,
But
Fruitman?
his stack has dwindled down. This is an awkward spot for sure.
I think Chris Ferguson used to do that. Remember that?
Yeah, I think yeah.
He's gone for
Like,
smaller
he had videos
3
of
bet
him, like,
sizings.
throwing cards and, like, chopping fruit.
Yeah.
Looks like he is gonna go for another smaller size, like 375.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's what I'm saying.
Like regular playing cards?
Yeah.
Classic cards?
380 by 6.
And in position, you definitely want to go for smaller sizings.
Sevenfold. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a pretty cool skill. That would probably be one of my top skills. I would choose.
Chad's probably gonna
What
fold
are the
here.
odds I could get you to throw a card and hit that wall? Right.
Oh, but some queens are folded.
Like, what type of
I mean, however I can do it. I'd have to keep the card. Would have to keep
That's a good sizing for 405.
You think so?
like a.
Gotta be happy to take down all that
I think
dead
I would
money.
go like this though.
How would you do it?
Yeah,
I think I'd do it like
that's
that.
good. Yeah.
I don't. Just
And then it'll go and then like it'll go straight.
No,
and I
go
think
ahead.
it'll like
It's like $3.
end up flying like this.
Yeah.
And then it'll be there.
Yeah. I wonder if like that.
Yeah. You know what? I bet you with the regular cards, they have the hard plastic cards when they throw them in the wall. There's no way.
But how would you pitch
Yeah,
it?
Robert
Like, if you-
Robert
if you
Brown
did-
does
if you
great.
did
He
that
said he
route,
asked for
how
a
would you
small
pitch it?
beer and a large cup,
Like that?
but just fill it up the rest of
Like
the way.
regular pitch, really?
Nice.
The cure
His beer session has started. Ready to join you. The straddles are on 25.50. John, George, and you, Chan.
Yesterday it was the hottest I've ever felt. The Halo game. It was.
Do you mind me asking how much that pot was? Like all in? You're in.
That's how
Yeah,
much
and
I
for
profit.
a poker athlete, when you do start raising a lot of hands,
In that one session.
hands like Ace Jack become a lot stronger because
27
you're gonna get raised and called by a lot weaker.
150 by
So another 14, so you were at 41,000. Well,
Nice
plus
hit.
the,
Plus the,
That one the other day was
plus
I
the,
think Tennessee.
Yeah, you're right, because he's been opening a lot. So with this stronger hand that he hasn't been opening with,
the one where you hit the nut flush the other day on this table was about
Ace 10 might play back at him. Ace 4 could easily play back at him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think Clay had like 8,000 in that pot.
Okay.
Yeah. But then he loaded up big after that.
It's one of the.
Did you deal it?
No, it's one of the 3-handed flavors. According to Pete.
Yeah, dude.
you dealt it?
Pete's been trying to give me shit. I fucking bluffed Jacob yesterday for 4,000, dude. I was like, if any of you fucks you want to bluff Jacob for 4,000, y'all let me know, dude. Until then, I don't want to hear that y'all think I'm tight, dude. But then, yeah. Well, Pete was just. Pete said
Great,
that to me,
great
though,
check
he knows
back.
I'm not tight, so
It's definitely a
he
great
calls
flop
me
to
a
check
shit,
back on.
set me off, you know. He loves it. So, like, nothing gets under my skin like calling me a nit. And then
Because that's
I bluff
definitely
him,
a straddle
like,
range
and-
right there
Nothing
with
you
defending.
understand like how
Oh
many-
yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
brutal turn
And
for
people think people call
Brandon.
me
You
tight,
can't
I'm
really
like,
continue.
Fuck it, I gotta go off. Like it works. Like
But
it's. I'm
He
very
might
exploitive.
feel
like
like
a
his opponent's just taking
psychological-
advantage of the spot,
Very exploitable.
and he does.
But yeah, Pete was like calling me a nit like all night. And,
Well, this can be a problem sometimes.
Drunk?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
but
that
yeah, he just
river,
ended up getting
if you
me.
chan bets, I think
And
he's
then,
gonna
and
get
I
sniffed
bluffed him
up.
in a pot where he almost called me with like a pair of 8s in Omaha on the river.
You like
And,
Brandon making the call here?
Yeah, this is a
Oh, I
great.
was going to go check,
He
check.
thought I was perfect. He literally had his chips like right here with like a bounce.
It's a great river to call with the ace high.
And I fucking showed him a bluff. For the
And you're
next,
not like
2 or
super
3
loving it,
hours,
but
he was just like talking about the hand. I was like,
if you know your opponent's, if you're gonna call the turn with the ace high, then you definitely want to start calling the river.
I think I
Needed
flipped
a
for like
better card, like a 10
2100 on the
or a-
river, and he folded.
9 or something.
All right, guys, our holiday bounty's coming up next week. December 14th through December 19th. It's a $300 buy-in. It's a $200,000 guarantee. The bounties on day 1 will be $50. The bounties on day 2 will be $200. 40,000 in chips, 30 and 40-minute levels. We have 2 turbos Saturday night at 9 p.m. and Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So come on out. We'd love to have you here for the holiday Christmas tournament. You guys can use some extra money. We all can. Come out and get a piece of this pie.
He called like 700 on the turn without looking at his cards.
Is that pecan?
And I was like, what's
Pecan?
That's
And
the
then,
thing, yeah.
and then
Pecan?
the river, I went all in for like 1,100, and he goes, okay, I'll look.
There's no N
And
in
he
there.
hit like a pair of 4s
Pecan?
on the board, and he almost.
I do
What do you
pecan.
mean almost?
I
like,
do
he,
love
like,
myself
literally,
some
he
pecan
taped me,
pie.
almost called
He hit a
me.
Pecan.
pair and didn't like
All he had after.
I've never eaten it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was a pair of 4s.
You were bluffing there.
Only pumpkin.
But he,
Punk. Have you actually never had a
yeah,
pecan pie?
first
I've
inch
never had pecan pie.
And
But have you had
what an
pecan
inch
at least?
Never pecan, never pecan, never
Wow.
never pecan.
7 raises.
It's okay. It's just brown sugar pie with nuts.
I haven't had sweet potato pie.
I guess the
Just
blind
pumpkin
hand,
pie.
yeah, it was fourth wet, I guess. Got ace, you gotta stick it in there.
But I do make a great potato casserole, which I'll be making this Christmas.
Nice.
And I'm going to give Rounders my secret recipe so they can make it for everybody playing here over the holidays.
Any 2 cards, almost.
I'm Mexican, so all my Christmas
Show me aces.
dinners are tamales and pozole and etc.
Yeah, we grew up on casseroles. Just throw everything in the pot, put some cheese on it, and eat it. You know, I grew up on welfare steak. You know what that is, right?
Oh no, I don't.
You never had welfare steak?
No.
Oh my gosh, you're missing out, man.
Was that like back in the Great Depression? Like.
I was just outside the Great Depression, just barely. Welfare steak is the best.
Fucking wipe that shit off.
This one's the one I use.
What is that stuff? Perfume?
No, it's hand sanitizer.
I'll take some. Can I have some of that?
Yeah, my hands are soft as fuck.
Kid getting in the mix, having raised the. Ooh, and JJ.
All over me.
Kind of sad to see that no one else is raised and it's just him and Kid because he's not going to get much action in a spot like this.
Oh, nice.
125 by
Yeah.
Wow, and Kid does actually call with the Jack 8.
And he throws the chips down. I'm like, I know you're gonna win.
Smells like grapes for a long time.
Yeah.
And after the longest time.
Yeah,
they're
interesting.
like, how can they market as like essential? Like they're not
Interesting
essential,
defender of the
right? You don't
decade here.
require them.
Having
Yeah.
Like,
been
The
such a
nut
short
flush
stack.
off.
Yeah,
fucking morons
he can take this
about
either way. I like all plays here.
Well, Kid only wins this hand if you add those 2 4s and make it an 8, and then
I'd
he'll have a
actually rather
pair.
there's some science behind it.
Yeah, and JJ makes a check that actually gets him an extra $175.
outside of maybe like
A bet and a shove.
placebo effect type stuff.
No, apparently
Dude,
there's
it's like, give me those
actually
coins,
done
dag it.
some research into it.
I need those
That'd be
green
pretty
chips.
Oh, you did? Okay. The little ones had
I don't know nearly enough about it to make any serious comment on it.
25 off.
I don't either, honestly. My sister used to be like a big conspiracy theorist, but I was like a debater with shit. And one of her things was like essential oils are like very good for you and shit. And so I like Googled it. I was like, oh damn, she actually had some like merit to this one.
I used to be really into that stuff. doTERRA, have you heard of that? The essential oil stuff? Yeah.
You were big on it.
Yeah, I was like selling it and
We were so poor growing up, my dad would buy a slice of
They're
pizza
pretty
and
good.
cut it into 5 pieces.
like
Oh
they,
no!
So we could all
Is that
have some.
true?
Yeah.
Dang.
Like women's gymnastics or something? I don't know, like been in a lot. My least favorite one was yeah. I got second. My least favorite one was script. That was
Here's a true story. We went to McDonald's one time when I was really little. And all I heard my dad say, $5? That's crazy. We bought 5 meals for 5 people, and it was $5
Yeah,
back in the day. And my dad's like, that's outrageous.
yeah, yeah. That's how my dad was an immigrant, so he had that. When he was coming here, him and my mom were pretty much in that same boat. But I didn't see that growing up. Ooh, John flopping top 2, but not going to get much action on a board like this. Up against the absolute worst possible hands to have top 2 with.
That's like a Johnny Bravo type thing or what?
They were like,
Yeah.
I mean, they were,
Out
it
in.
was
Outland?
like this, yeah, like.
No, it's just like straight up and out. It looked like he had wings on.
I'm burning.
That's a small pot right there.
Yeah, but surprisingly, John's only down like 900 now. He was down
Let's see,
3K.
where is he at? Yeah, he's climbing the ladder.
Rhonda, did you see that king on the board?
Oh, I thought he
on
was
the
in
wall?
for 6K total, so
Did
he's
you
actually in
notice
for a
that? It was
little more. But yeah,
I like it like that actually.
JJ's not down more. I thought JJ was down a lot more.
Heard it that way.
It's not bad.
So I tried to
Chaz
do
just
that,
up
and I was,
11.4K.
Average night for Big Daddy.
Yeah, that's
So you're
insane.
blaming me.
Yeah.
He won big last stream too, last Tuesday.
Is he the G-man of Texas?
He's just the man of Texas. Kid gets another pair, but a small pair. He's just gonna limp in.
Yeah, and you can
Set
see
mining.
he's down to 420, having not really played any hands, and you can see like what can happen when you're short stacking is Yu-Chan's gonna go 100. Now are you gonna shove the 6s? Are you gonna fold? Or are you gonna call and then fold the flop? Yeah, it's rough.
There he
Gotta
goes.
shove. And now Yu-Chan's gonna call so many hands that you're just
Yeah.
flipping with
Good
everything.
luck, guys. Good luck, bro.
He's not gonna. Kid's ripping money out of his back pocket, saying, "All right,
Yeah, I mean it's a rough
I gotta be
spot.
up. I gotta be up against a big hand." Oh, Queen 9. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was like 7. I
Got the
thought you
wing.
called like 7.
Did you want to like minty silicone? Jazz?
Good luck, all in.
Yeah, I feel like it was made your soul.
Gets him back to even
Yeah.
I was like, both of them.
if he can hold.
Ooh,
Oh,
but
he
he,
gets out flops, but
he
he
has
has
some
a straight
draws.
draw, right?
straight draw and backdoor diamonds. Ooh, adds a little more outs. Not as much as a diamond would, but pretty much doesn't get there. And that's the problem of the short stack is you're gonna get called by Queen 9 for your whole stack, and Queen 9 doesn't care because they win or they lose 400 and they don't really.
Yeah, the when you got, you know,
Queen 9 versus
12K in front of you, and you raised it 100, you're not going to fold for 300 more.
But it's actually also good because if he waits for better spots, then he can actually, you know, if 400 is nothing to them, and you're just constantly making 400 because they constantly drop it to you.
A couple hundred. They've
That's
had
pretty good.
some low that made everything go up by like, I forgot what the percent was, but everybody was pissed off. Yeah, like a two, even like a $3,000 place.
Did you come back?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
No, New York.
Yeah, 100%.
Is someone 5,000 behind tonight?
Like, New York feels like
Rhonda, you don't need to add on more.
What's it?
You don't need to
Kid's
add
going
on.
to buy back in,
Rob's like, he's
I
at
think, for about a dime.
That's a really modern like. Oh no, yeah, it's really.
No,
Rhonda is the queen.
no, I literally, I was like, I'm sure.
I've got $1 if he needs change for a dime.
He's actually a very solid dealer. If you see his,
Even like
he
five,
deals
6
fast. He
years
knows,
ago,
he reads the boards fast. He's
It's
a
not
very
active
good player
area,
too.
of course, but it's-
The more I look at him, the more I think I've seen him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen him more on the screen.
I mean, it was rough. Now,
I've heard stories.
now it's like,
Oh, limping in with 10-9 suited is going to be another spot where he might start losing, you know, again, kind of bleeding a bit with the 10-9 suited. But maybe he just flops a nut. 10-9 suited is one of my favorite hands.
Well, he only won with kings, and he took down a pot that no one played. He lost with jacks. He lost with sixes. He made a bad bluff into JJ.
So now it's time.
So this
Never
is
mind.
Chaz with two pair.
Chaz with a lock on this one.
downtown here.
Kid could catch a 10 and get in trouble.
You were
I don't think he's going to call, but he
cash
does.
table,
Wow.
because I was on that cash table. You had those spades, and I hero called you like a donkey.
What's that tell?
You had a, I could feel.
Yeah, there's some turns that are going to be really, really bad for Kid here.
You gonna swap me out?
That's kind of one of them.
Over an average day stack on day one.
In the main event.
Chaz just puts them all in.
Yeah, and you're targeting kings here as Chaz when you're getting called by him on the flop.
Okay.
And Chaz would do this with Jack 10 of spades. Chaz would do this with Queen Jack without spades sometimes even. So it's kind of a problem because you can't call with a 9.
And Chaz is nice enough to show Kid two pair.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, you wanted exactly 5 now. I'll bet you know.
Thank you, sweet. Thanks.
But throw a black one on there too, will you? I'm just kidding.
Bet I will.
How hard is it to play when you see everybody got, 6, 7, 5,000 and you have 1,000?
You want to draw? Get a pair.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing about knowing short stack is that you're going to have to make folds that you really don't want to make. So folds with the 10-9 suited pre-flop, you wish you could play it, but you're not deep stack enough. But the thing is that, let's just say in that spot against Yuchan, when Yuchan does that with Queen 9, if he just waits for aces or kings, and Yuchan's going to pay him off there. So it's actually, it can be decent. Like, sometimes it's better to be short stack like that than to be deep stack like Yuchan and Chaz, where Yuchan gets in a pot with Chaz where he's calling a bluff for 10K.
Would you stop that? Okay. Now you're.
Yeah, like if Kid were to wake up with like kings here, for example, he's getting a triple up a lot of the time. But he just has to be patient if he wants to take that kind of play.
Is that a Hawaii shirt? Yeah. Rainbow Warriors.
Rhonda thinking about getting in the mix with the 4 deuce offsuit.
Let her rip. I check.
Queen 9 strikes again.
I don't think he's ever going to fold Queen 9 ever again. He's going to win $1,000 with that.
Not yet, though. Chaz does have the good hand to float with, especially for the sizing.
I don't know.
Not that high.
Or nothing like white.
He gets trapped with the 9 of diamonds on the turn, right?
Ooh, I like the fold. I really like the fold by Chaz. Like, he could be drawing dead against a lot of hands. I expected to float, but it's very surprising in a cool way.
That's GQ Chaz right now.
Just a friendly reminder, if y'all are gonna straddle, please do it as soon as possible. Wow, that was actually really rude. The way you said that, it's like with the little feet in there. That was rude. That like, no, he's joking with you. No, I'm being serious.
Standard fruit.
He's joking with you.
No, he's part of
Get a little out of hand.
What's that young kid's name that played on the stream that moved here and is around as regular now, but he used to be in our chat all the time before he came?
Oh,
remember?
King Agar.
Oh, King Agar. Where's he been?
I'm not sure.
Can we start that hand over?
I saw him the other day, but other than
Oh, you
that-
did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think he said he was taking a slight break, that the game didn't go very well.
Just go to 11.
Mm.
And that, you know, that
For
happens
you,
a
it
lot.
goes to 11
Happens to me
tomorrow.
every time I play.
Three, raise the 300. Four fold.
Get my clear?
Five fold. Chance Jones would feel it.
6 fold.
Jones would feel it.
8 fold.
Yep, feel it.
I mean,
Oh, it already started?
depends on the feel of it. I really do love holdem.
Nine fold.
Check dart.
You like what it
Check dart.
You like
Nine checks.
you like
I like it a little bit.
I love.
Played a lot.
You do?
I love. Always
Oh, well, then
have.
you play with us too.
More than hold on?
Ooh, interesting flop.
So we used to play like I know no one here likes it.
The flop sucks for
Colorado,
JJ.
we did, round of each pillow and
Yeah.
He's gonna bet.
300 plus 3.
You like PLO better?
It actually might get more folds than I imagined, but no, it does have a 10. Needs to.
it
There's a lot of hands that JJ is gonna be betting here. Ace Queen with a diamond.
what I liked about the game we played is
Oh, and Chaz likes that
when
turn
you
a lot.
do
I mean,
that
not
round
Chaz,
of each, you
JJ.
got people sitting there with $10,000. So the
Definitely
games
turn.
with the
You can
pillow
continue
was
betting on.
free. Then when you've got,
Thinking
people
900.
sitting there with 300 and two with 1,000. I mean, it plays totally different.
Right.
And I prefer the other way.
The deeper. Yeah, because then you can play more PLO.
Yeah, but I mean,
Nice
you wanna
takedown by
hit
JJ. It's always so nice to
right?
take one down when
Right.
things have been going wrong.
Right.
So
I think
that's
he
what
might be
like.
even now.
PLO?
I don't know. He was in pretty deep.
Yeah, it can be a fucking painful
I mean, he
game.
got caught up with the hand. Well, no, he did stack a lot off of a poker athlete earlier, so he had a nice stack.
More like that.
That's
He
good.
did give a lot of it away.
Yeah.
They weren't letting people in if they're trying to
But
buy it for 500.
that's new, right? That's a new game
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they're playing here.
I hadn't
What's that?
seen it before like a week ago, but
What he's telling me about.
the game you guys were running, I was just saying the average attacks in that game.
We
were
just
already
started a month ago. It's 5.25.
What do you know? What the-
No, we've run 4 weeks now. So we've run 4 weeks. What does that feel like? What's the average stack? You said 7,000.
Oh, like 3 to 7, depending on what's going on.
Is that enough to play
At
with?
least tonight I
Like,
played.
it seems like that'd be like short.
Well, John's gonna wake up with a nutty hand with the 8-4 offsuit.
How did he not raise there?
Mm-hmm.
He's really tightened up his range.
Oh yeah. That was funny.
Brandon hasn't played in a while. Got a little bored. Wants to raise now.
And poker athletes coming in the pot.
Oh yeah.
When I thought Rolex Mike, when I thought he said he was up 60,000, I was like, oh shit. It
Oh,
turned
yeah,
out
Oh
he
wow,
had no
we're on
shit.
the.
Yeah, we're playing over there.
Yeah, I liked it with the straddle.
That's
So I might have called with the queen 10.
Whatever he said,
I think the
hot
thing
seat.
that is hard
So it's
for
six.
a lot of tighter players to also
That's what
know
I
is
thought he
like when
said.
you call,
Check.
you kind of don't let someone like Chaz raise behind because when you call, your range is looks so strong.
Friday game is tamer than the home game.
No one really wants to play against someone whose range is like super strong.
Check.
The ones we play?
Ooh, interesting turn. It's funny is that they could be chopping on a lot of rivers,
I don't know what's the water development, but 125 is the one
Came
back.
back kills me too.
and that's not a river that they're chopping on. Ooh, and the blocker bet. Gonna get-
Well, I got the 6. I got showdown value.
Nice. Easy.
Nobody's playing that big.
And chips are moving, you're saying.
He's gonna
Yeah.
raise.
Just gotta take a stab.
There was the other night, the guy.
Yeah.
He even said try to take the stab as he raised.
There was a spot where
And so bad.
he raised for like 200. Me too. Oh no, he raised for 50. He raised for 200. He called. Flop comes. King Jack 4 all hearts.
I wonder if that plays into more of a fold when he says try to take a stab.
Into like a $400 pot.
I think it almost makes you call because you're like told him to do it and he did it.
Their guy just has King 10 no heart. Just hold him up with a king.
Damn it, it's only 250.
Is that what he said? Oh,
Yeah.
good fault.
He said fuck.
It was a bluff. You fucking.
Chaz is great.
I would never bluff you, Chaz.
A bluff would bother me right there.
What'd you fold?
What'd you fold?
Threes.
This is a great table, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of cool people, a lot of fun people. I was even just gonna say it's nice to have Brandon Poker Athlete and Brandon Mephisto at the table
8-6.
because they're both,
And Elon's got some thin fucking value.
you know, some of these are regulars, but
Actually wondered
I
if
feel like
was gonna-
they haven't really played the streams yet. So JJ just commentated with me last week.
Yeah, y'all did a great job.
Yeah, JJ's really
You usually break
fun
like
to talk to, fun to commentate. We talked a decent amount about hands and stuff. At least back when I was doing the tournaments with him.
Punishing yours.
I've making out with you.
I've never seen anyone treat their little tidbit like that.
I like it because it has that like minty.
Isn't it? Right? And then the little like riches in it.
That's nice.
So you told me you were coaching Michael. Do you have other players that you coach, or do you analyze hands, or do you actually coach? And
All those things.
I mean,
Yeah.
what does coaching consist of? Scenarios of how to play certain spots.
I think a lot of it, actually, I would say the most important thing that a coach can give any player is mentality and understanding of the game. Because you can do hand history and you can do studying, but if your hand history and the way that you think about the game is very clear cut, oh, this is wrong and this is right, and straightforward like that, then you can't really get good because it's really hard to break habits that are already instilled that are bad. And kind of what I go through when I coach is just like trying to break those bad habits from people, while also like showing them, you know, things. Obviously looking at hand histories, but mostly asking them what their background is, what they're doing in their life, and how they can kind of go do things a little better in a lot of spots. Wow, that's a sick turn.
Lands with a baby full house.
Yeah, Ronda's open ended.
Yeah, so golf and poker are exactly alike because when you get coaching from both, they're always trying to change your bad habits because you've never started out getting coaching. You're like frustrated and tired of doing what you've been doing for so many years. That's when you seek help.
Yeah.
But you've got this bad routine that you've developed for so many years, it's hard to break it.
Yeah, no, it's extremely hard. I mean, I always tell people, like, if you're going to start the game, you need to, if you're going to play poker, you need to, at least if you want to go full-time, you need to start with coaching, because if you don't, you develop really, really, really bad habits that end up really costing you money, and some of them are just impossible to break. And
This hand here, I just see Lance calling. If you're not folding, Lance. I see Lance calling.
and Lance did raise,
Nope.
takes it down.
Oh, Chaz. He shows Chaz the pocket fours.
So far, you've broken the streak. sir.
But yeah, a lot of times, like
Broke it.
I took a golf lesson. I've taken probably 3 over
Congratulations.
25 years of playing golf, but I considered I played golf for like one time a year and considered myself a golfer.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I got sticks, I'm a golfer.
yeah,
But I only played one time a year for probably 10 years or 12 years. And then recently I joined a men's club in the last 6 years or something like that. And so I've been practicing a lot. Like
Yeah.
I want to be better. I don't be a guy that just loses, 20 golf balls in a round of golf.
yeah.
I want to start playing better. And I haven't gotten I've gotten better, but not good enough to be good. And it gets frustrating because you got to put all this time and effort into it. Same as poker.
Yeah.
Like, I pretty much play the tournaments like
Oh, half the players right there.
I'm trying to set up the whole table
Yeah.
to like pre-registration's over, like when we have the registration still open, playing super bad, super horrible calls,
Yeah.
showing hands to get people to call me when the break is when the registration's over.
Yeah.
So I get all their chips later because I can keep rebuying.
Yeah.
You know, and it does work out a little bit, but then they're just super solid people that play. They don't get involved with the antics that I do. You know, regardless if it's early or late.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors. I mean, if someone has, a really good read of the way you're playing, it's hard. I think that's the problem with poker is that no matter how bad or good you are, for example, there's this guy who had an online. So online, you can keep track of not just how well you're doing, but when you go all in, it'll tell you how many times you've lost when you were ahead, and how much money you should have made in spots where you're all in. One guy was 1.1 million above, like he should have been, in terms of all his all-ins, he should have had been profitable 1.1 million. He was actually down on the year 400K. So like poker can make you feel like, oh, I'm so bad because I'm losing in that spot, and just the same make you feel like you're so good because he could have also made like 2 million probably in that spot, and been up more than he actually should have and felt like he's better than he actually is. And that's the problem with poker is it's not just about good habits and understanding the game. It's also about not kind of inflating your own ego.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually the hardest part is once your ego is inflated, which poker has done to so many people, they are hooked, And
Yeah. I never thought I was good. I consider myself super lucky when I make hands based on how I play because I never thought that I took the time and effort to play as what people consider, I guess, a good player. I just play that person or the group of people that I'm in the hand with a certain way.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I really, it's one of the hardest games, not because the game itself is super hard, but because the aspect of the game is everything. It's not just playing cards, but playing like, you can make decisions that will affect not just you, but people around you.
I'll tell you hand after this hand.
JJ
Yeah.
might be showing does take it down though. Nice takedown by JJ.
Okay, so we're playing the small. I'll play a lot of the $20 tournaments, right? Because they're rebuys for $20.
Yeah, these are worth.
So I get 9-3 offsuit.
What brand are these?
Everybody limps in for $100. I hate everybody limping in for $100 or 100 chips, $100 chip. So I make it 600.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 people call, or three people might fold, 3 people might call. Then another guy re-raises like 5,000. We only start with 12,
Yeah.
right? And so one guy calls, so I ship it for 12,000 to get the other guys to fold heads up.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't think it's a pair. I'm just hoping to catch a 9 or a 3, and if I don't, I just rebuy for $20. Well, they all fold. He calls, and the other guy folds. He turns over pocket aces.
Yeah.
So I flop a 3 and river a 3.
Yeah.
I scoop the pot. He gets up and walks away. He goes, $20. If I'd have lost, I'd just rebought. But
Yeah.
his mentality was I lost with aces to this crazy guy that jams with 9-3 offsuit. He don't know how to play. I'm not going to play with people like that.
Yeah.
But it's just because I want to accumulate a lot of chips. And the $20, it's $20.
I mean that's a big aspect of the game for sure. Where I mean doing a play like that, most people aren't gonna want to do it. But the thing is, like him saying like, "Oh, I don't want to play anymore because I lost with aces," is also why people can't like overcome variance because you want to play against someone shoving 9-3.
Exactly.
Oh,
But then when I show that hand and I win, I get a lot calls when I have like 3 or 4 hands later I get aces and I do basically the same kind of play and I get 3 people calling me,
Yeah.
for their stacks.
If you haven't had
The
Don
door
Julio,
is a good baseline tequila.
But it's all just little dynamics I think of setting it up.
Yeah, I need to try that.
Look at this.
They've got
Mephisto's
their-
going to
I
raise,
put reps on him.
I have not
or
tried
is
it.
that a call?
I know. They don't have Don Julio Reposado.
Oh, Don Julio Reposado. Yeah.
That's the best.
Looks like a
that's the
raise.
best-
Yeah, definitely.
Don Julio.
Yeah, and Chaz is
Mid-grade.
calling.
That's the best mid-grade Don Julio. He's for sure.
Trying to get the.
Ron just sent me this.
You gotta try Don Julio Real, bro.
Yeah, and this is
You
gonna
tried
hit.
that.
We can't see the hand, but it's gonna hit Mephisto a lot, and he is gonna check a lot of his
It's clean. It's a clean. It's
really good hands here. Ooh, and John's actually in there.
Yeah, the action tracker is off a little bit, guys. Apologize for that. That's the previous hand.
Don Julio Real. About $600-700 a ball.
I was going to show you.
That I have not.
Get through there.
That I have not.
I'm like, that's it. I have to.
Oh, it looks like John takes it down on the ace high board.
I have.
No.
Like art.
Whether you get 5 better flat
Oh,
Oh, so this not.
Hey Chad, how you doing? Hope I think you're on vacation, I guess.
No, he's working out of country.
So you have a shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's getting breakfast. We're about to go to bed.
Not wearing shits. And the very same
Oh, they
night,
must have gone off.
I got a
Bought one. It was like one.
and they had a sale.
Well, good morning.
Everything that was already on
You've been
sale.
I mean, it
12
would have
hours.
been the best stand on the phone.
How is food there?
So you went off.
38
I bought the entire website.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
But let me tell you, in defense of myself, okay? It delivered.
Yeah, Ghost. When do you get sleep? I was watching.
Oh, no, that's
I was watching Matt Staples the other day when he went deep in that tourney, or I think he won,
Yeah, I think the most.
and I saw